Kila mwisho wa juma hapa katika runinga yako ya KBC Channel 1 tunakuletea Mkulima.
Mkulima ni kipindi cha kila mtu. Mkulima mdogo, mkubwa, mnunuzi, muuzaji na pia anayenuia kuanza kilimo.
Kuanzia kwa mbinu bora na za kisasa za kilimo, ufugaji,
kukupa fursa za biashara, kuongeza dhamana hadi teknolojia zinazorahisisha kilimo.
Mkulima Kisasa inakupa wewe maarifa, motisha na suluhu za kukuza mazao,
kuongeza kipato na pia kulisha taifa kwa jumla.
Tunafeed nchi, tunafeed watoto wetu na tunafeed Europa na tunaweka pesa mfukoni.
Tazama Mkulima kila Jumamosi saa 10:30
kwenye runinga ya taifa.
Mkulima, tuko hapa kwa ajili yako,
ambapo fursa na kilimo zinapatana.
Good morning. Welcome to Good Morning Kenya. This is Good Morning Kenya on KBC Channel 1 on 16th day of September 2025. Karibu sana to the program. My name is Victor Olo. How are you doing? It's a bright new Tuesday morning. Let's do this once again. Okay, so I have to say, we have a new presenter. Director, can we? No, just hold. We have a new presenter, a new colleague on set. Boom.
There you go.
Omwami.
Yes.
I have to start with you.
Sure.
Good morning.
Morning.
Welcome to the program. This is how we do it.
Am I the new presenter of the day or what?
Yes.
Yes.
But I thought it's a beautiful lady in the
Introduce
house.
yourself.
I thought it's the beautiful lady in the house.
And introduce yourself and why you are here and how you can, introduce yourself.
Oh.
Good morning. First of all, who are you?
Morning, my friend. Victor, you're my old friend.
He's called Wafula Mutacho.
Thank you.
He's not new to Jerusalem. We just decided to do something today.
Yes.
This is how it feels.
Yeah, it's good, by the way.
Right?
Yeah.
Karibu sana.
Asante.
Vivian, good morning.
Good morning, Victor. And a very good morning to each and every one of you who is watching us from home. Yes, as you have seen, we have someone new on set, and it's a good thing to have him start off the show with us right here, just as it is for you to start off your day right here on Good Morning Kenya. This is how we do it each and every weekday morning. Now, today being a Tuesday, we'll be talking matters health as we always do every other Tuesday, or every Tuesday rather, on our health check segment, and we will be looking beyond treatment and diagnosis today. Our focus will be on compassionate care and palliative care as well. What exactly is compassionate care? What is palliative care? We are so used to prescription treatment, whereby you go get medication and then, you get treated through that. But today we are focusing our lens on palliative care, specifically for cancer patients. And joining me in studio at around 9 a.m. will be one Dr. Emma Nalianya. Dr. Emma is a general practitioner at the Kenyatta University Referral and Research Hospital. And she is from the oncology department. She'll be here to just take us through what compassionate care is all about. How does that look like? She will be giving us a run through the oncology room. If you have any questions for our doctor concerning cancer patients and compassionate care, feel free to do that and bring forth your questions. The number is 0716-103-301. Our WhatsApp lines are open. You can start sending in the message beginning now, and we'll get to see you at 9 a.m. together with the doctor, who will be answering all your questions. Mike, good morning.
Good morning, Vivian, and to everyone who is watching Good Morning Kenya. Welcome to the program. My name is Mike. Remember, you can be part of every conversation happening right here on Good Morning Kenya. We are at KBC Channel 1 on all our social media platforms. The phone number has been given. So be part of every conversation that is happening here. Today, we like pulling one on you sometimes, introducing a new person. But Mr. Wafula Mutacho is not new to Jerusalem. But welcome to the show. I want to interest you today with a very interesting quote from Muhammad Ali. Don't count the days, make the days count. Don't count the days, make the days count. That is food for thought. Victor?
Don't count the days, make the days count, which is very important. But Omami, what do you make of that quote? Don't count the days, make the days count.
You know, with that, I think do good things that will remind your days in this planet. Yeah.
Okay. Count the day. Don't count the days, because the more you count, Vivian, don't count the days.
Don't count the days, just make the days count. Make
Yes.
sure that every single day you're showing up for yourself, for the community. Just show up. Do whatever you need to do a day at a time. Then you'll just be making that day count for you. Yeah.
And Mike, what do you think Muhammad Ali was thinking?
I think I would not really try to get into his psychology at the time, but I think he was trying to make every moment count for him, given that he is one of the greatest pugilists or boxers that we have in the world. So I think he made every moment that he went into that training meaningful.
Yeah.
So he made sure that every day that he gets into that training ground, he is preparing for that one fight that he is going to have with his opponent. And most of the time, he came out winning.
Yes.
Yes.
And, well, think of it this way. So today is Tuesday.
Yeah.
So you counted Monday, it's gone.
Yes.
Tuesday is coming now, and it will go. But then the question is, what did you do yesterday? What did you do yesterday? Think of it. So stop counting Monday, Tuesday. Count, make the days count. That yesterday you did something.
Yes.
Again today you're going to do something. So whatever you're going to achieve today, let it count. But don't count, oh, today is gone. All right?
And might I add, when you make the days count throughout the journey, when you look back, you will see it was worth it.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Sure.
So here we are. Okay, so we are going to get into it with our new, Wafula Mutacho is a member. I want us to continue with the series. We are taking a look at President William Ruto's regime, 3 years into the office, and now 3 done, we are into the 4th one officially. So today, let's take a look at some of the issues. I have Ken Bosiri, who is consulting and training editor. He's been in the newsroom for years on end. Of course, Wafula Mutacho is Ford Kenya chairperson, Trans Nzoia, and Michael Agwanda, who is a political analyst. Let's take a look at what is generally, what is out there. More so when it comes to us, the media, how have we performed so far? Okay? That's a big question. It's quite hard for us even to take a look at ourselves, to do self-assessment. But I want us to take a look at how the media, we have covered President William Ruto's regime 3 years, all right, into the 4th one, and how can we correct it? How about now? We start with the front page of the local dailies as I welcome Michael and Ken on set. On the front page of the Standard newspaper, War Against Matiang'i, that's what I have here. I will have to get these papers. This is how it's done. Vivian, thank you very much. Another one from Wafula, very good. Asante sana. All right, so this is how we do it. So on the front page of the Standard, let me start with the Standard, War on Matiang'i. War against Matiang'i, sorry. War against Matiang'i. That is what is on the front page of the Standard newspaper. War against Matiang'i. And former Interior Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiang'i's declaration 4 months ago that he'll run for president in 2027 has clearly struck a nerve in President William Ruto's camp. Behind the scenes, a covert plan is in motion with state machinery rolled out, senior civil servants flexing power, money changing hands, and threats issued, all aimed at clipping Matiang'i's rising stature in Nyanza and across the country. That is what's on the front page of the Standard newspaper. And again, sleuths flying blind in city without CCTV. This one is with regards to of course, the death of lawyer Charles Mbobu. Despite millions sunk into the integrated urban surveillance system between 2012 and 2015, Nairobi has no working CCTV to capture real-time crime in the CBD and major roads. A week after lawyer Charles Mbobu was gunned down in a hail of bullets, detectives still have no solid leads and are left to hope and pray for good Samaritans to step forward. That is what I have here. Now, the story on the front page of the Standard is what we'll be taking a look at. Probably that's what's on the front page. Teachers back Missouri on hosting JSS in high schools career path. And now, the Kupet SecGen was heckled by NAT officials at State House on Saturday after calling for JSS to be domiciled in secondary schools. And Missouri now made a case for moving JSS from primary schools, citing lack of infrastructure, especially science laboratories. Okay. Again, this is case of Duale daring. There's cartels opposing health sector reforms, a lot taking place in the health sector. We still wait to see how it will happen. Ruto keeps off politics owners issuing was father's legacy. That happened yesterday. And of course, the story on no surveillance in the major cities, major roads across the city, shame on over capital city without working surveillance cameras. The killing of lawyer Mbobu has exposed the capital's collapse surveillance project and widening insecurity gaps. That is on the front page, inner pages of the Standard. And finally, on that big story, Ruto's allies plot to clip Matiang'i's wings in Gusiland ahead of 2027. Busire, good morning.
Good morning.
Owadwa, ichionade. Very good. Good to see you.
Yes, yes.
Karibu sana.
Yes.
And of course, Wafula Mutacho next to you is the Ford Kenya chair, Trans Nzoia County, and Michael Agwanda himself. I call him Tyson. Now you know why Mike Tyson had that. No, that was Muhammad Ali. Are you a boxer?
I used to.
You see? I thought that's all fall far away from the tree. Lightweight, bantamweight, featherweight.
Actually, I was a lightweight then.
Yeah. Very good. Why did you retire so early? I'm a knockout
I
for
just
so many.
didn't think it was a profession I was going to pursue till the end.
I see.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, karibu sana. The three wise men. So let's take a look at what is happening. Of course, finally, very quickly, on the front page of the Star, inside Gachagua, Kalonzo team's 2027 game plan again. Should work. Stalled projects gobbled up to 1.3 billion shillings CDF cash. That's according to the Auditor General. All right. So again, story, hurdles in race for Mombasa governor seat. A lot is happening there. And finally, on the front page of the Daily Nation campaign podium, there you have it. Yeah, campaign podium. And State House, okay, State House is the image here. Yeah, you have it. And this is an illustration of what has been happening inside the house on the hill. So it has now been turned, according to the Daily Nation, it's a campaign podium. You can take a look at that. Of course, different dates, delegations hosted at State House, Boda Boda, Nairobi Youth, Nyamira and Kisii, Meru, etc., etc. You can take a look at that. Okay, so, gentlemen, let me start with you, Ken. I mean, when you look at where we are 3 years down the line, of course, allow me to ask you, what has been your key highlights during 3 years' time of President William Ruto, up to where we are now? We've started the 4th year. Time flies.
Really, yeah.
Yeah, time flies.
Thanks, Victor, for having us this morning again. That quote that was you talked about earlier.
Yes.
Making the days don't count the days, but the days
But make the days count.
count. Just looking back at the 3 years and doing an audit of the 3 years been counted, they've counted for the presidency and the government. I think it's what we call a mixed scorecard. We've counted the days. There's been a lot of confusion, a lot of talking at each other instead of talking to each other, dominant voices, and voices that have also stayed down. But in all, I'll say in one word, it's been a mixed story.
Yeah.
Where we've sometimes counted the days because there were promises that were made, and some of those promises have lagged behind. They have not been fulfilled. Now I see there is a little more hurry to start ticking the boxes.
Yes.
You remember during the campaigns, the president and his team went to every county, and they had county charters talking about very, very specific projects. I have not seen that they've gone back to those counties again to try and say, where are we in the first year, where are we in the second year, the third year, as we go to the fifth year. Because we know that as the third and fourth year kick in, there's going to be more campaigns.
Yes.
And you just alluded to a fact that the State House has now been turned into a campaign platform. Delegations going there to be told what they're expected to do. But I've not seen much of what, if we take a delegation from, for example, Muranga, what did you write with the Muranga? Is anybody coming with the scorecard and saying, this is exactly what we set out to do, where we have not do? An honest, very honest opinion and assessment that has its downs and beats, and having that honest conversation. But I've seen a lot of the talk is laced more with politics, what I can do, what I promised to do, and not what I've done.
Exactly.
Right.
It's about them.
Yep, them.
Great. Fuller, I like the way he started. From the quote, he's connected to the days, not counting, count the days and all that. I want us to take a quick break. But before that, in 20 seconds, your key highlights so far, 3 years down the line.
I think, to me, I say, Mr. Victor, that a lot has been done for the last 3 years. I didn't expect that myself. I didn't expect it because we know I'm a politician, and sometimes when we campaign, what we promise, we don't deliver. We don't deliver. Most of us.
That's a clear. Okay.
That's a fact. That's a fact. We don't deliver what we promise. We promise heaven while campaigning, just purposely to get some votes. But anyway, for the last 3 years, if I can compare with the previous regimes, for the last 3 years, I know President Ruto has gone through hell because he has never had peace for his last 3 years in office. But if I can count, he has done something that you can see. To me, I didn't expect that, but I can see since Moi left with the Nyayo Stadium and Kasarani Stadium, he has put up a nice Talanta Stadium in less than 2 years. We can see, me, I'm a farmer from Trans Nzoia. You remember when Ruto came in?
Wasn't Talanta started during last regime?
Yes. It is. No, it started this regime. It started from this regime.
No.
During Abab Namwamba's time. When he was the minister.
Talanta groundbreaking started during last regime?
No. This regime, when Abab Namwamba was the minister.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm a farmer, and in Trans Nzoia, we have been having a lot of challenges towards on the season of planting. Now, the major problem was fertilizer. And you remember this regime, when it came in, we had a lot of shortage of maize flour. And that the time I realized, Kenyans are Ugali people, not Luyas alone. Victor, that's when I saw people complaining bitterly to the government. But when he came in and shelved the major problem of fertilizer, Then Trans Nzoia, we are doing well. Right now, if I can say, we are going to have a bamba harvest this season. So that one is one of the things. And you know, when you cut people's stomach, then the leadership will be a bit smooth. That one is one. We can come also to this issue of affordable housing.
Okay.
That is a milestone. It's a change plan for this regime. In just three years,
All right.
Victor, so many houses have been put up. My daughter was trying to apply one in Mombasa. They're all taken up.
Very good. Let's take a break. Let's take a break. We'll be right back with more before our time is taken up, according to. Stay with us.
Sende kuita mama.
Kwani nini ilifanyika?
Kama Cindy angeniita, Elijah angekuwa na sisi.
Tumefanikiwa kupata 80,000.
Basema 8 ama 80,000.
Bwana Elijah, kwa makini.
Yanaweza kuwa naitiwa nini huku sasa?
Ni juu ya jina.
Hallelujah! Atike! Hii ni mambo ya Mungu.
Tabu na kuangana temptations mob. Halafu mademu vaa vibaya.
Maajabu.
Nani alikuwa kwa mtego? Na nani?
Hello, fabulous ladies. Welcome to the talk show that's all about sisterhood, empowerment, and unfiltered conversation. We will be focusing on women. We believe in women.
We are really changing.
We are creating a safe space for women to connect, thrive, and share.
Just because you're a woman on a bike, you're labeled in a certain way.
It's not just a talk show. It's a movement.
When they are standing, we need to stand out.
From heartwarming tales to hilarious adventures.
They could ask me, Catherine, why are you learning?
We are turning the spotlight on women who are breaking barriers in their individual fields.
You have to have a vision. You are the leaders of Kenya today.
Keeping it honest and relatable.
Mental health is real.
Yes.
Where there is no communication, there is no relationship.
Join the sisterhood on KBC TV for Dada's show.
They say the art without art would just be get it? We circumnavigate the globe and traverse the local scene to bring you art and culture at their very best. From fine art, culinary art, performing arts, and even cultural events, you name it, and we have got you covered. My name is Kevin Kasioki, and I will be serving you this and much, much more each and every Friday at 8 p.m. only on KBC Channel 1.
Welcome back. Now let's get into it. Let me come back with, Omwami, 1 minute. You are submitting something?
Yeah, you were
When it comes to
submitting
affordable
something.
housing.
And you know, I don't like submitting this because sometimes you call me as if I'm an agent of this regime and I don't earn anything there. So, but I just pick what I know it's right. Where it's good, you spell it out. Where there is wrong, you call it out.
Yes.
So in this one, for me, I say this regime have done. When you come to, I said about the Talanda Stadium, you know that, and the Talanda Stadium, I think by the end of this year, I moved around last weekend, and I saw it where it is right now. Maybe by the end of this year, it will be done. We'll be hosting some events at Talanda Stadium. Let's come to several stadiums actually, across most of these big towns. Like Bungoma, we didn't have a big stadium. It was brought up by this regime. I've seen Kisii, the same. I've seen where else? Where we have been holding the Masuja Day and all those things. These stadiums have been put up by this regime, which is okay. Let's come to another thing that has been a problem to most of the regime, employment of teachers. This regime has broken a record of employing many teachers in the system. I remember last time when Kibaki was there, they entered into an agreement with the NAT and COPET on how they should increase and employ teachers, but they didn't up to the required number. But this regime, more than 30,000 or 40,000, they have employed 20,000 teachers. Yes.
Close to 100,000.
Yeah. Yes. So that one is also a milestone in education. Though infrastructure is a challenge to most of these schools. Let's also talk about renovation of the Kasarani. When I went there to see the Chan, it was a different stadium. I thought I'm on UK, one of the UK stadiums. Kasarani has changed. And that motivation of players, we have never seen it before. That's when our young boys showed up a good talent and a good game. All of us enjoyed. It has never been there. And any regime has never recognized the players. If we can continue like that, I think the president has set up a good start for that. I think it will be there. Another thing I was discussing with my friend there, that what happened with the Hustler Fund? It was supposed to be something good, but it went underground. Yeah, the government has spent money, and I know the few people who utilize those Hustler Fund as exert, they have changed their life. So Hustler Fund was another thing. So we can, in just 3 years, Victor, something that I didn't expect from this government, they have done it. I don't care about what they promised, but now I can see what they have tried to put in place. Yes.
Great. That is your progress report. Mike, what is your progress report?
Well, Victor, thank you for inviting us here, and it's good to meet Umami a second time over on the set here. He says good things, but some of them are very bad things.
Go ahead.
When he talks about Hustler Fund, we know that 91% of the repayment, 91% of Hustler Fund borrowers have fell into a trap of repayment. They have not been able to repay.
Yeah.
But you know what he's also talking about? He doesn't know that now Hustler Fund is now connected to SHA. That if you don't have, if you've not paid your SHA, you'll not be able to remit a monthly subscription for SHA until you pay Hustler Fund. So the question you want to ask yourself is, why do you, if you're lending money to people to do business, why do you connect it to their health insurance? And that health insurance, when you're taking health insurance, there was nowhere where they sign a contract so that if you don't pay SHA, you will not be able to utilize your SHA on a monthly remittance. And those kind of things. And of course, it is a way of government trying to get the money that they give out there that people have not given out. But then the question you want to ask yourself is, when you're giving this money, what contractual obligations are in terms of giving the money out, and how was the agreement of repayment? By the mere fact that you have a phone and you can borrow it back. If you don't pay it back, they should have other means to recover their money, but not to connect it with a very important sector like SURE, which is health insurance. But when he also says that the daughter went out there to look for houses, and all the houses are taken, I don't know what type of houses the sister was looking for, because
this was affordable housing. Not my sister, my daughter.
I don't know. You know, there are issues with affordable housing. In fact, consumption of those affordable housing is an issue that is being discussed across the board. Are people going to be on board on them or not? Because a number of people that sometimes you want to build their houses for are probably managed to get their little shack somewhere, either in the village or something like that. And so some of those houses are still empty. There must be a way out on how we can encourage people to start utilizing those houses and to start having them. But let me tell you, if you ask me what has the 3 years of President William Samoei Ruto look like, I will tell you one thing. The 3 years of President Ruto's presidency is a very fortunate presidency, because this was the only president that was not going to finish 3 years in the office. Take it home. With the emergence of Gen Z, what we are seeing in other places, perhaps the president will have gone home before 3 years. The first one in the history, it did not happen, but it was really close, really, really close. And so he's had so many problems done good. And unfortunately, some of those problems are self-inflicted, and some of those problems are problems that perhaps he never thought about. One of those problems that are self-inflicted is ensuring that Gachagua goes home as his deputy president. That has become the biggest thorn of the flesh in his entire government. The kind of words these people are using on the office of the presidency, and also the president himself, are unpalatable words. They're words that you would not wish that a president of a nation will be addressed to. And I feel it. It's quite unfortunate when they come out and call the president a thief.
Yeah.
And then you go out there. Some of us have an opportunity of traveling abroad, and then everybody is seeing that a number of people calling the president a thief. Even if he has not stolen, but by the mere fact that people are calling him a thief, in my view, just taint the image of a simple unity of our nation. When they call him, a murderer, for example, and they've called him a murderer several times as a result of Gen Z killing, that in itself taints his image. Yeah. When he goes out there and your countrymen are calling you a murderer, there's a problem. When they call him, a liar, for example, when you go out there and you sit with your peers and people are calling you a liar in your own country, how do you expect the other national leaders to respect you? And I think we are in a country today where the presidency, the office of the presidency, and the president himself is not being respected. It is unfortunate that that is happening in this country. That I saw the president, and this was a very, very sad case, holding a trophy for Chan, and somebody saying, oh, Ataiba, Ataiba. And I'm like, that video went around, and I'm like, whoa, even a little respect. And I want a little respect for my president, because when I go out there, I talk about my nation. I talk about the country, Kenya. I talk about my president as well. A little bit of respect for the presidency and office of the president, it's key. But the words that we're using out there against the president are words that you do not want to associate with that office. That is what is happening in this country. And I think,
Mike, what are the genesis of all this?
Well, one of the few things
politicians, if I would put it plainly.
Yeah. My friend here, Ofula, tells you that, when he referred himself to as a politician, and he said, when we go to campaign out there, we like to tip on things we cannot say, we cannot do.
Most of them.
It is a fact. It is a fact. But remember that we are in a digital age.
Yeah.
Remember that digital age, what you say today, you'll be reminded in the next 10, 20, 30 years. It sticks with you, and they'll bring it in perspective. You're saying this today, and this is what they'll bring, what you said yesterday, okay? And when they analyze that, you have to be extremely careful if you want to be a leader in this age and time. Because when you say you will build stadiums all over the counties, if you don't do it, people will remind you. When you say that SHA is for this Wanamboga, the small person that will help them, and they go to the hospital, and they don't get treated because they've not paid a whole subscription for a whole year, they will remind you that you say this was working, and it's not working. And I'm not saying SHA is not working in totality.
Okay.
But I can also tell you that my wife, who works in a county government, went for treatment and with the SHA, and the county government had not remitted. I will not mention the county government, yet they had not remitted their pay for the last 2 months. So she can't get help in the hospital and she's sick. Whose problem is it? Is it the county, or is it the SHA itself? Or what is the arrangement? You see women going on TV and making a lot of noise and saying, my child cannot be treated. I must pay money and I have SHA. Those kind of things. They may look small, but those things hurt your reputation, and those things hurt your image.
That brings me, Michael, because that was going to be forming my part of discussion. When it comes to devolution, some of the governors, even in devolution conference, governors meeting during their caucus, they say that they are not getting the disbursement to the counties in real time. That is forming my part of discussion. But I see Ken is trying to scratch his head.
Yes.
As you do that, let's also connect it with devolution. All right? And then we are going to talk about education as well. Those two.
Victor, I think Mike has spoken about something that is very close to me. That for years and years, and as an editor, one of the things I've always wondered, do we have national manners? Do we have any manners as a country?
Yeah.
What do we stand for? Do we believe in what we do? Why is it so easy for us to call each other names? We have given ourselves a constitution with institutions that also spells about what are the parameters of what we call expression. When is free expression free for all? And to what extent do we know how to observe these tenets of democracy? For me, democracy, I think sometimes I wonder whether we found ourselves, instead of democracy, we became crazy as a country.
Yeah.
Because some of the conversations that we have, that we cancel each other. And unfortunately, for Fulai, Mwami here, his breed, his creatures, called the political creature, is the cause of all these manners. Bad manners in the country, bad pronouncements, everything else. And yet, we cede a lot of our trust and goodwill to them. But they throw mud on our face. And this is where we begin. And unfortunately, we seem to be living in a very abused system. The very people who abuse our values and ethos are the ones we keep trusting. They're the ones we tell them, who do we elect? What do we do? How do we do this? And this is, for me, what I find very, very disturbing. That you cannot aspire to build a country on the very foundations of institutions that you dismantle every day. And that, for me, is what I can't. And then, like Mike said, some of the things you see, very, very unpalatable things, are also, we find ourselves as victims as a country. That with the technology now, we are able to create certain things, perpetuate our hatred and our biases using artificial intelligence. We create things about people, and in the end, we do not know that those things have a knock-on effect. It's like throwing a ball against a wall in a tight room. That ball will come and hit you right in the face. And this is exactly what we're doing as a country. And we've not, for example, what you mentioned about Hustler Fund. It was a very noble idea. But what did we do ourselves? The very same politicians told us, take it, eat it, and don't pay.
Don't pay.
Yeah.
That's what they said. You're right.
And because we obey these creatures, these ill-mannered creatures, we obeyed. And today we are complaining. I think for me it's important that there has to be a punitive clause to that. However punitive it is. Just like you go to a place, you know I'm supposed to sleep under a mosquito net. You don't sleep under a mosquito net. You get bitten by mosquitoes. And you know the result of that bite is going to be malaria. When you go for a quinine injection, you say, it's hurting. It will hurt you. You have to know for every action there's going to be a consequence.
Yeah.
And this, for me, has largely been a thing. So we have abused our goodwill, our own mannerisms, our own things. And when we talk about affordable houses, the houses are there. But I've tried in the last 3 weeks to get to the portal. It's closed. I can't access. I've been trying to call. At my level, I should call the PS and tell him what is happening. But I can't get through. Yesterday, I took my mother to a hospital. She's a senior citizen. And it was about SHA. I asked, she can be treated. We paid fully SHA last week, 2 weeks ago. And when I went to this particular hospital, which I will not name, and I was very livid, the hospital told me that we only take civil servants. Yeah. What kind of nonsense is that? They know the SHA directive. I've done a message to the head of SHA saying, is there something that is happening that we do not know? And once again, well-meaning policies that we are every step of the way as Kenyans, because of our political, ethnic, and whatever interests, we've tried to frustrate. That, for me, is the problem. Coming to education, I think for me, the tertiary education has been a mess. A good thing rolled out, but not systematically followed out. This confusion at university level. I'm one of the people who believe that we have to give scholarships and grants to students who are not deserving. But again, it goes to our who are deserving. Why would I cheat? We cheat in terms of information that we feel so that we can get it. We are a very dishonest country. We lie in terms of age. We lie in terms of income. The moment we get our mannerisms and begin to say, yes, it is. But the greatest win out of this has been the redefinition, defining the framing of the education system into 3 pathways. And I think because when we introduced what was called CBC, which has now been called CBE, we didn't know what to do. We now know that we can do STEM pathway, which is the way we used to do it in the old ways. You go to high school, you go to Form 2, you know you're going to do science, you go to a science stream. You know you're going to do humanities, you go to humanities stream. The third element, which I think speaks to what Wafula mentioned about sports and creatives, and which Talanta speaks out as the pinnacle of those things, is going to be very key. That we can now know that I don't have to do all subjects because I have to pass all subjects. I'm gifted in STEM, I'll follow the STEM path. I'm gifted in humanities, I'll follow the humanities path. Or creatives and sports. Now what we need to concentrate on is creating the proper instructions that we have seamless flows through the system. We have the framework. So in the end, what we are talking about, today you just mentioned about the headlines. As a media person, we have also been very open. We've had the space, but we also suffered hostilities at the beginning. A distrust from the system by dint of what we did in the last, where we were framed in the last election. We found ourselves caught in between these political wars. So the incoming regime thought we were anti them. So they obviously came in. They're human beings. They reacted to it. We also reacted. So we found ourselves in some kind of paralysis. But that was not helped by the paralysis within the government communication systems. You have layers and layers of communicators who do not what? Dead silent, they don't know what to say. So we ended up having a dominant voice of the president as one person. No wonder there's so much vitriol poured against him, because it's the dominant voice in every sector, in social, health, education. Where are the people working under him? Where are the communicators who are supposed to tell the government story? They're there. A lot of them are systematic people who have worked in the traditional PR and communication system from the government. There are these newbies who walked in with the new government, who wanted to show that we can connect you to the media. They're there earning lots of money, and they've created a jam. We have the communication center, then we have the government spokesperson. So where do we get the true story, and how is it aligned? These are some of the confusions that will not even bring out the story that Wafula talks about. It is there. The voice that we hear is the president's voice. At least now there's a gentleman in health called Dwale. is trying to speak out. Where are the rest of the people? For example, when people talk about a road, where is that CS or where is in that system? So these are some of the things that we need. So we blame the government, the politicians. We believe in them. They guide us into the ditch and walk out of the ditch dirty, and then we keep talking. But we have to sit back and ask ourselves, we have a country, we have a social community. What is it that we have to do? And then every single thing in this country has got a frame of a politician. We put a name there, where the name ends up subsuming the policy.
Yes.
And that, for me, is the downside about our politics.
I like the way you mentioned them. And at some point, I was wondering, even in the beginning, there was a word. In the beginning. In fact, the way the word was created was through word. Let's create this and that. But now when it's come to communication, that's where the link is, the missing link is. Wafula, I want us to do this in 2 minutes before we take a break. When you talk about education, let's focus on that. And then when you come back, we talk about education shortly and then devolution, which is quite key. Do you think the government has really performed very well? Because when you talk about capitation, when you talk about CBC, the entire system, what do you make of that?
No, Victor, last time, I remember I was in this table with you, and we slightly touched on education system in our country. We come up with a very, very good system of education. But now toward the implementation becomes a problem. You remember Moi's time, the 844 system. It was benchmarked in China.
Yes.
Properly, we brought it back. During the implementation was now a problem. Those, the Randa, the Nyundo were in primary school. And people could at least learn how to use the Randa, the hammer, and all those things. From there, the system died completely. People started selling those items that were being supplied to the primary schools. So we come up with a very good system. But now, implementing this system becomes a problem. Now, the major problem is the implementers want to get some good token out of it. By the end of the day, they corrupt the whole system, and the system fails. No system has introduced which is bad, no. When we talk of capitation, the national, the central government distribute money to schools. You remember it was in the media, and that's why I say sometimes the media team puts up a clear picture for our people to see. Money was being sent, I don't know, a school in Baringo, which does not exist. That one is one. There are so many like those schools outside there. Yes. Now, actually,
we are also seeing on the health sector.
Yes, the health sector. You can see the minister who is there right now, Mr. Duale, pumped a lot of money to an hospital, I don't know, in Garissa. More money than Kenyatta, than Mama Lucy Hospital. And these are big hospitals that are level 4 hospital. But they paid that hospital a lot of money. Now you can see these problems. And even when you are talking about SHA, you can see what now SHA is collecting from the previous NHIF. Very, very little, 40%. NHIF were collecting more than 80%.
Yes.
More than 80%. Right now, the little money they are collecting, they are not even dispersing properly. Now you find that the implementers of this system of SHA has laid down the system.
Thank you. Omami, when you go to Loyaland, what do you welcome me with when I come to your home?
Of course, ugali na kuku, that's a normal.
And what else? Chai.
Chai, of course. And the choma if it is there.
I want to serve you tea. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. I'll circle back with you. Don't worry. Thank you so much. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Jill has always played both sides. I don't even want to know the details. But you need to take responsibilities of your own steps. Look, listen. Did Tiffany mention me?
No, not yet.
Right?
Come on. Give her time. She'll come back around.
Kuna shida lakini. Sasa unataka tuongee mambo zetu hapa mbele yangu.
Greetings in the name of the Most High, Jah Rastafari. My good name is Marley Moses, the positive warrior, alongside.
Yes, sir, DJ D-Rage, the baddest. Each and every Wednesday from 10 p.m. on KBC Channel 1 TV.
Tunakuletea the biggest reggae party in 254 in a yard extra. Extra niceness of reggae music.
Extra dose of entertainment.
When the thing is nice,
we have to do it twice.
Want to enjoy free-to-air digital TV with crystal clear quality? Here's how to get started with Signet. Step 1. If you have a smart TV, you're good to go. If not, get yourself a digital set-top box. Next, connect your set-top box to an aerial and the aerial to your TV. Use RCA cables, yellow for video, red and white for audio, or simply plug in an HDMI cable for high-quality sound and picture. Now, do an auto search on your TV. Just follow the prompts on the screen. And that's it. You're now tuned in to Signet. Sit back and enjoy a wide range of free-to-air digital channels. For technical inquiries, call the Signet hotline on 0770 572 656.
All right. So, Wafula, you're happy now?
Yeah, I'm happy.
Tuko na chai.
Niko na chai. I think now I can continue.
Very
Proceed,
good.
yeah?
Okay. So this, I want to give 1 minute again. I don't know why break comes on you, but fine. Let's continue.
Now, the way we are discussing about education, and it is very clear that we come up with good policies, but implementation is a problem. Same thing to SHA. Maybe the system was supposed to be good, but implementation was bad. And Victor, I want to, because I have some friends there, when they brought up this system of SHA, and then they told these people that they should reapply their positions with the new terms of payment, that demoralized the whole staff of SHA, of NHIF, demoralized them completely. And you know, some people are earning like 150,000. Now they have engaged almost 3/4 of that amount, of that salary. Now they were brought back to reapply with almost half of the salary. These are the people who are actually pushing for contribution, collection of the money from various institutions, private institutions. But now, if you do that, do you expect them to continue collecting money? No. That is why the contribution to SHA has dropped in a bigger margin. Let me say about on how people are being treated in the hospitals. Most of the hospitals right now, last time I was talking with one of the senior person in Mama Lucy Hospital and Mama Uhuru Hospital, Uhuru Kenyatta Hospital. You know it? You've never heard that. hospital. It is level 4 hospital. You don't know it. It is not Mama Margaret Uhuru Hospital.
Okay. Probably without mentioning names.
Yeah, that is a hospital.
Yeah.
That is the hospital's name. Yes. It's a big hospital. But now they have treated people with the SHA cards. Now reimbursement for them also to buy medicine from SHA, it is now a problem. Do you think they will continue treating these patients free with the SHA cards again? It becomes a challenge. That is why now the problem lies with the SHA headquarters. How they remit these payments to their clients, especially the hospitals. A small hospital being reimbursed more money than a big hospital. That's a challenge. So implementation is the key to whatever we bring up, especially in SHA. And that is why, and I said from the beginning, we have the deeds and the does from this government. Now this one, if the president, and I think it is now the president to come up very strongly and put SHA in a right direction. Okay. Otherwise, the way my friend Dr. said, in just 2 years, 1 year, 2 years, when introduction of SHA, we've lost so many people than NHIF in 10 years. It's a fact. Also, the county.
Yes.
County also contribute a lot. I can give an example with my county in Transvaal. They don't buy medicine. They expect patients to be treated. That is now a major problem. They don't.
We need to investigate that. Okay. When it comes to all this, gentlemen, assume you sit in, that round table, with the president, and we are getting to the 4th year of his administration, and you're now given time to advise him on what to do. Putting it out there plainly, what would you tell the president? Or how would you think, Mike, some of these things should be fixed moving forward in the next 1 year, even heading towards next election? Because now, that is now where the contract ends, and then now there's a renewal contract. We all know what happens thereafter. But now, between now and the next 1 year, sitting on that round table, what would you advise the president? Unfortunately, all these things we're talking about.
Unfortunately, you did not give me a chance to rattle a little bit about education, which I want to do.
You can still talk about that with
I run a school.
Yeah.
I run a school, and so education is so close to my heart. One of the few things that we have to agree on is change is inevitable. Change will come from the old system of higher. Now we went to 844 system, and then we are into CBC, which is now CBE. I really think it's important, but CBE is competency-based education from curriculum, which I think is okay. And I agree with the concept of leaving this unfair competition of doing KCP with a gun in class to a child that has never been close in my village in Machara, to a police officer. And now that police officer does not just come in uniform, but with a gun, and then you have to do the exam. You don't know whether that child, whether he lost his parent that day, whether his mother has just been sick, whether their house has been burnt down.
Yeah.
That child has been studying in a place basically where there's no electricity, but you want to compare the same child with that child that is in Nairobi, in an affluent neighborhood, do the same exam and expect them to sail and be judged based on that very exam. Very, very unfair if you look at it. And it came to a point where basically people are looking at how the schools have achieved in Form 4 and in Class 8 and nothing else. How you pass the exams really does not matter. What matters is did you pass the exam or not. And those are the parameters that the schools were looking at when they were, coaching their kids. Pass the exams. It doesn't matter whether you know anything. And hence it came into the point where Ken was talking about cheating. And people started cheating in the exam, because if you cheat, you as a principal, you are highly recognized.
Yeah.
You can increase fees arbitrarily without any, even thinking about the parents, and they still pay. You can, pay your teachers whatever you want, or charge parents whatever you want, and they will still come there because, oh, the school looks really good. It's not that it's good, it's just that it's passed the exam. Now, if we can put education into a place where we are now so the emphasis now are on competency, getting to know what you've studied and whether you are good in science or not, and jumping into sports. And I was saying, well, you're building Talanta centers and you're building all these studies, it's good, but what have you put for people to start in terms of resources, for these kids to start training when they're young? Because we're looking at the concept. It's not just a building, because a building are coming up. Somebody else is benefiting from this building. But if we're thinking about training people in talent, as Talanta says, then we need to start seeing that now in our budgetary systems. Is there a lot of billions that have been put to start training our kids on talent so that they can grow as sportsmen as other countries are doing? Absolutely not. So you can see, yet we're talking about these monumental things, structures that we're putting in. What is a system that is supporting it? Are we investing in people and children so that they can become stars in the next 10, 20 years to come? We are not doing that. So you can see that the concept of building is not really in the interest of building Talanta, but it's in the interest of making the politicians, the people in power, rich for today, a fact. And now when we talk about education system, and it's very unfortunate with what we're seeing in health system today. You're seeing that a number of schools were being money was being dispersed to schools that were non-existent. Well, I don't know if you'll be surprised that the same thing is happening in health today. That a lot of money is being dispersed to no. It shouldn't surprise you, because these are the same politicians. These are the same people who are, empowering their cronies. He was talking about the hospitals like Kenyatta, and Kenyatta is level 6 hospital. It's a referral hospital. It's not level 4, just for me to correct you on that. It's a referral hospital. It's level 6, the top of the top hospitals that you could have in this country. But if you can disburse money to some small hospital in Garissa and more than what you're giving to Kenyatta, you think you don't know? You know. So it's systemic. It's something that this guys borrowed from Ministry of Education because they were funding schools that were non-existent, and then they say, let's do it also in health. And do you know why they will do it without even thinking? It's because the people who disbursed the money and went and collect the money are still serving in government, and nothing has happened to them. Are you understanding that? So they will do the same in health. They will do the same in other places. What will I advise the president? I'll tell him, there are few things you should not touch. Let those institutions work. That is health, because it will expose you if it doesn't work. It is just everybody must go to the hospital at one point or another. It will. And education, it will expose you whether you like it or not, because our children have to go to school and we have to interact with all those bad policies every single day. When money is not disbursed on time, let me tell you where the principals are turning to: parents. Tell parents, bring money, we pay the electricity. Bring money, we pay all these people. And then you say it's free. No, it's not free. Education is not free. It's very expensive. Don't touch it. I saw what happened at the university level just more recently, where the school fees was increased to unbelievable position. Now, in Ministry of Education, they're asking about 120,000 kids that did class 6, an exam in class 6, but now are not in 9th grade. And they're wondering, 120,000, where are these kids gone to? You mean they've just disappeared here in the last 3 years and nobody knows where they are? Yet we are talking about 100% transition, that all the kids that are registered in class 1 should be in grade 1, should be in grade 6 and grade 9. That's what we're talking about, 100% transition. Do not touch education, do not touch health, and do not touch what we call infrastructure, more specifically on the roads, because everybody goes on the road. If the roads are bad, the conductors will increase the prices and say the roads are very bad. So those 3 things, make sure you work on them. But I was talking about education system more recently, more specifically university. Just the other day, school fees was raised, but people made so much noise until the president actually reviewed those figures. And I'm very happy that this is a plus we can actually give to the president, that at least for the university fees, we can see a huge reduction. Why can't we have these people that are dispersing money to non-existent hospitals, dispersing money to non-existing schools, be arrested, whether it is a PS, whether it is a director of education, so that we can see the heads rolling from top. If we are continuing with doing these things and the heads are not rolling, nothing's going to happen in the next 2 years, I can tell you for a fact. Because the system, the principal knows that the money did not come here. But you in Nairobi, you're telling people that have already dispersed money. Who is the end user? The end user is the principal.
Yes.
And if they don't get the money, they've not gotten the money. Point clear. If we don't sort out the mess in SHA, if we don't sort out this disbursement monster in schools on time, if we do not fix the roads, I can tell you today, if you go to Kilimani area and Kileleshwa area and other places in this house, there are more potholes than any other time in the history of this country. In fact, there are some roads now behind, Alta Towers and those other places that you cannot even drive on. They are more gullies and bigger than even what you could imagine. The small cars can't go on. And those are the roads that are actually supporting Ngong Road, because Ngong Road really gets jam-packed. Yeah. And if you have the roads in Kilimani all with big, big potholes, then where are you going? And you know, when your cars are breaking down and you're not making profit, it bottom up into, am I going to elect this president again or not? These things run into votes as to whether that will material as into no votes or no votes.
So you ask the president, do not touch three things. One, education.
For now, it's not about touching. They've already been touched. For now, it is about reviewing those policies, fixing, and having those policies work.
Education and infrastructure.
Where there are no complaints like there are today.
Thank you. Thank you. Ken.
Very well. First of all, you asked about devolution. For me, devolution, a very good idea. And for purposes of telling, for rehashing our minds, devolution did not start 10 years ago. There was an attempt by the late former head of civil servant during Nyachai, it was Simon Nyachai, and God rest his soul in peace. There was an attempt doing what we call DDCs. That for me was the path of trying to decentralize government services. District Focus for Development, DDCs. The money went there, but it was that time under the bureaucratic system. The civil service. Yeah. Money was taken and people were supposed to take to the districts and focus and pick out their priorities. Things were planned. That was for me the earliest attempt to begin to take resources to areas as a way of evening out what were there. So the very seed, however jaundiced it was, began at that time that we, after realizing that too many things were centralized and they were not getting to the other nodes of the country. And that also did not work. But devolution is one thing, that we took the political bureaucratic with all its ills to the counties. We have miniature presidents with miniature cabinets, miniature people who only hire loyalty. I do not, for example, in my county, my father's county, do not see a lot of involvement. It's about the governor telling you this is good for you, not what the people have decided is good for them. So it is about showbiz. We spend a lot of money in bureaucracy. What happened to the own source revenue? A lot of it is taken and eaten, for the lack of a better word. I don't know what English word we can give it. It's a Kenyan lexicon about eating. It's taken, eaten by his loyal people. Those are what he pays them. They become another elite that is there to do themselves. For instance, I've never known, there's an MCA who is my neighbor in the village. He came to me and told me, let's put down this live fence and put a stone wall. I asked him, why do you need a stone wall in the countryside? And he said, it's just for security. Security from who? From the very same people who gave you a job? That for me is a misplaced priority. That people give you a job to be with them, you want to build a wall to keep them off, you think. That for me, devolution is good idea. It's a mess in terms of the implementation. The hospitals that are supposed to be devolved are a mess. There is nepotism, there is cronyism, and all those things have messed up everything. So that for me brings it. Talking about if I sat down with the president, what would I tell him? Let the media work. They will truly mirror. Listen to them, however prick it is, they will show you it is not working. Do not take a self-defensive thing. It's going to be the mirror that is going to show you this is where it is. So the media is not your enemy. The media is not an enemy because it's the one thing that holds what we call public trust. It will hold you to account. It will tell you X has remitted money to the wrong institution. Follow it up. We do nothing personal. Mike talked about accountability. The other thing is, I don't know whether we just roll heads or just let the blood flow. I think we need to have serious consequences, not just tokenism in terms of jailing, in terms of everything. Take a very bold step. Let's see a few heads hooded, hanged and thrown into the baskets, and then we see blood. I think that's, for me, a very nihilistic approach to what you must do, because we must shake the foundations. Yeah. Justice, okay. Rights, okay. But what right do you need for somebody who steals 100 million shillings, that is killing 10,000 people?
Yeah.
What right can we grant that person who takes money that is meant for education and people don't go to school? That is a saboteur. If there's something called more satanic, is the person who steals public resources that are meant to improve and build the lives of the people. You be given public trust, please deliver. If you can't deliver, get out. If you can't get out, let's remove you like you remove a jigger from your toe. It's painful, but you have to do it. 3 things that the president has to do. And they happened, they are not part of what he started. The tragedies that hit this country as a young boy growing up is the day we decided to privatize public health. I grew up going to a hospital, a dispensary. Everything was there. We decided to build these private hospitals. They took away, the elite knew that they could get privileged health support in the so-called private hospital, high-end hospitals. Let's reduce that. That was a tragic thing that happened. Commercialized health. 2, we commercialized education. Yeah. I went to school with sons of ministers. They didn't have to worry that it's Kadinotunga or something else. They came because the school was there. That was the premier school. But the moment we introduced what we call academies, then we segregated ourselves. The 3rd one, public transport and infrastructure. Look at Nairobi. It's a mess. Look at all urban areas. The moment we lost Kenya Bus, we don't have any schedule, we commercialized critical public sectors. Look at the housing in Nairobi. The moment we allowed people to build, give them land to build, give them public land to build houses for themselves, housing became a problem. Yeah. So all critical public sectors must revert to what we call public, put more money in public institutions. Health, education, housing, public transport. So that it is benefit all of us. And then make a choice about its legacy projects. You can't be all over the place. If health is your legacy project,
streamline it.
Streamline it. Make it work. Take it home. Education is your legacy project. Take it home. 3 legacy projects that he has to choose in the next 2 years. The next 1 year, I think it's just 1 year. And make sure that they work. Then he can go with the scorecard and say, this I have delivered.
Okay, great. I think based on what you said, it's more or less the same as what Mike said. Education, SHA, infrastructure, and public transport. Yes. He needs to bolster the public sector for it to work. I like that. Omwami, when you look at basically what is happening, What is your...
And if I may add, food security.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
that's,
yes,
so close, that's now close to him. Because he comes from the food basket. He will defeat us hands down on that. Sitting on a round table with the president, they have given their side of the story on what they think. These are clear opinions. What would be your opinion? Sitting there, he's sitting there, and you want to advise him in the next 1 year, moving forward.
Me, I think my profession is I'm a very good investigator. And I tried to learn why agencies were in the streets. Most people did not know why they are in the streets. I think right now people are just, I think the government have realized a little bit why they were in the street. Most of them knew that maybe it is because of job or unemployment. That's not the fact. And if I meet Dr. William Ruto here now, what I'll tell him is just one thing. And if he fixes this one, all departments will be home and settled. It's about corruption. It's about corruption. The way my friend has said, let us introduce, you said, I don't know which means we can use. No, let us go to China, borrow the law from China that deals with corruption. Let us introduce that law here. Let it work independently. In China, if you are caught up with allegation of corruption, allegation of corruption, you are interdicted and subjected to no movement out of the country. That is how good it is. If the president can do this one in the next 1 year, and this is what agencies were fighting for, it is about corruption. You know, and I got time to interact with them, and they could easily tell me, just see, so and so we saw him yesterday, he was just like this. Now he's a billionaire, and we know his salary. We know his salary. Where is this man coming from? He's buying a watch of 30 million, a shoes of 500,000. If he can display what he is wearing, it's millions of money. Why? Are we having a future nation? No. So actually, if the president can hear me, just to introduce a good law to deal with the corruption cases. That is the major thing. If we can do that, then other departments, even it goes down to the counties. You know, the way my friend you've said that, governor, I don't know, you as if you are talking like my neighboring, my governor or what, because he was putting up a wall for his office and the people decided to pull it down. Why are you protecting us, not entering to this office which is ours?
Yeah.
So if that law can go down to even to county levels, to county entities, then that one will help this nation to grow. And the president leave the institutions that are charged with the corruption to do fairly. There we will see this country moving forward. Yeah. Otherwise, we can talk of this country moving miles, but we cannot move if corruption is taking center stage.
Okay.
And if we are encouraging the corruption and defending the corrupt people in this country.
Okay. Because we are running out of time, I want to ask you, on a scale of 1 to 10, 3 years later?
To me, on what I had mentioned before.
On a scale of 1 to 10?
What I had mentioned before, right now I gave President Ruto in the last 3 years around 7.
7.
To be honest.
That's good. That's 70%. Okay. Mike, out of 10?
I'm probably, I would rather rate my president based on sectors, based on performance. If we give him 1 to 10 in a blanket sheet, then I wonder what I'm getting him on. So I'd rather be specific, like how about health, how about issues of infrastructure, how about issues of education. When you're talking about infrastructure in terms of building houses, I will probably give him about 7% out of, for housing. But the other sector are equally very important, like security and things like that. So I would run away from giving a blanket check and say, look, can we be very specific in terms of the performance of the president on some of the key and integral institutions in this country that drives the engine of the economy, drives the engine of senior citizens. And when we talk about his legacy from the beginning, not about legacy, but his philosophy from the beginning, it was about Mamamboga, Mutua Ndudi, it was about Mutua Mkono, and that meant that his first philosophy was to put these guys up so that they could come from down and go up. Unfortunately, what we're seeing now is more of top to down, which gives me a very hard time to rate my president.
That's a creative way of giving him some rating. That's a creative way.
You must give a score.
You must give a score.
You must give a score.
I've said
it is an example. Just give him a score.
All right. In terms of housing, 7%.
Thank you.
But other departments, I will need to have that discussion.
Okay. All right. Senior?
I think, like I began by saying, that it's been a mixed card. So up some there, above 5, others below 5, especially, now let me say what is below 5. It's management of communication. It's system of telling a story. That is 3. I'll put it 3.
I think we'll come back and talk about communication properly when it comes to...
you want to give a total score?
Yeah, I want to give a total score that will be about 5. If he can stop being seen like he's the one micromanaging everything. Let people work, give responsibility, and hold them to account. And finally, this score is not just determined on him as a person.
Yes.
It's determined by the citizens' civic responsibility as well.
I promise to call you back so that we can talk about more on communication. Mike, you'll be here again, and Omwami. Thank you. We'll talk about that. The gentleman who has just spoken is my senior in the industry. That's why I call him senior. He's been in the industry for years. Thank you so much for coming. Ken Bosire is a consulting and training editor. Next to him is Wafula Mutacho, Ford Kenya chairperson, Trans Nzoia County, and of course, the heavyweight fighter, Mike Tyson. Mike Agwanda, I call him Tyson, political analyst. Thank you so much for coming. The 3 wise men, thank you for waking up early and telling Kenyans and talking to the government as it's supposed to be. Asante sana. And you, my viewer, thank you for watching. We'll take a break. When we come back, we're crossing to Zinga, and Doramanya and Rashid Mumkondo will be running that show. Stay with us. Good morning.
The world of governance is vast and can be alien to the ordinary man on the street.
Critical issues are going to be discussed.
From white papers to policy positions, it is easier to get lost in the labyrinth of words.
Inside Government takes you to key global metropolis where critical decisions are made and where policies are crafted.
We interview policymakers and senior government officials to highlight and enumerate government policies and projects. We take a deep dive into the underbelly of complex red tape to demystify policies across the country, across the world. Join me, O'Brien Kimani, on Inside Government, only on KBC Channel 1.
Looking to advertise on KBC? KBC announcement services are now available on eCitizen. Visit kbc.ecitizen.go.ke and fill out the online application form. It's simple. 1. Complete the form. 2. Upload required documents. 3. Receive a quotation based on word count. And 4. Get notified via SMS when your announcement is ready. Please note, clearly indicate the type of announcement, service station, and all relevant details. 2. All applications must be made online only. Manual submissions will not be accepted. And 3. Announcements will air after news bulletins. For assistance, reach us on email ecitizen@kbc.co.ke or use our social media handles, Facebook, your Facebook account, and X at your X account. Or you can call us on 0723-892-654 or 0734-780-124. KBC announcements. Simple, fast, and digital.
Kutoka upande wa KBC Channel 1 na vile vile Radio Taifa, ambapo mwenzangu Rashid Mamkondo yuko ngangari tena kabisa kuhakikisha kwamba tunapata haya mazungumzo kwa njia sawa tena kabisa. Na kwa wewe mtazamaji wa Channel 1 na msikilizaji wa Radio Taifa, tunakukaribisha kwenye gumzo pevu Jumanne ya leo, wakati ambapo tunakutana kila siku ya Jumanne kuangazia masuala mbalimbali ambayo yanatuhusu kama taifa. Na basi hii leo tutakuwa tunaangazia hali na athari ya viwango vya bidhaa. Je, bidhaa ambazo unatumia pale nyumbani, unajua kama ni viwango ambavyo vinafaa ama unatumia vifaa ambavyo hata uelewi viwango vyake viko vipi? Kando na vifaa, na vile vile kuna bidhaa ambazo unatumia. Kwa hivyo hayo ndio mambo ambayo tunaenda kuangazia katika mjadala wa leo. Tunakukaribisha kuleta maoni yako kupitia mitandao yetu ya Facebook KBC Radio Taifa Sauti ya Mkenya, na vile vile kupitia KBC Channel 1. Je, unaweza ukatambua kwamba hivi bidhaa ni feki ama ni vya halali? Kama unaweza, basi hebu nipate kauli yako kupitia katika njia ya mtandao. Na mtazamaji na msikilizaji, kumbuka pia bidhaa bandia zisizo na viwango bora bado ni changamoto kubwa nchini Kenya, na vile vile zinahatarisha usalama wa wananchi, kuumiza biashara halali na kugharimu taifa hili mabilioni ya pesa. Na licha ya kuwa mamlaka ya kukagua ubora wa bidhaa KEBS imeongeza ukaguzi na kukamata bidhaa ambazo ni gushi, tumeona ya kwamba hali hii imeendelea kukithiri hapa nchini Kenya, ambapo taifa letu linaendelea kupoteza takriban shilingi milioni 250 siku hizi, ama katika siku za hivi majuzi tulipoteza takriban kima cha shilingi milioni 250. Lakini pia Kenya hupoteza kati ya shilingi bilioni 153 hadi shilingi bilioni 800 kila mwaka kutokana na bidhaa ambazo ni bandia na biashara ambayo pia ni haramu, kulingana na mamlaka ya kupambana na bidhaa gushi hapa nchini. Yapo mengi sana ambayo tunaenda kuangazia kuhusiana na masuala haya ya bidhaa bora na bidhaa gushi, na basi studioni kutusaidia kuchanganua masuala haya si mwingine basi ni mhandisi Zakaria Lukorito. Yeye ni mkurugenzi wa maendeleo ya viwango na biashara katika shirika la KEBS. Karibu sana Bwana Lukorito katika studio zetu.
Asante sana Dora.
Asante.
Naam.
Leo tunaongea mambo ya ubora
wa bidhaa na uwekaji wa viwango katika nchi yetu.
Naam. Shukrani kuweza kufika, na labda ndio tuanze, kabla tunaanza kuongea kuhusu bidhaa gushi, tutajua vipi bidhaa ambazo ziko halali. Upo umuhimu gani katika kutumia bidhaa na vile vile vitu ambavyo tunasema kwamba ni halali? Kwa nini tuzungumzie masuala ya viwango katika mjadala huu leo?
Asante sana. Viwango ni kitu muhimu sana kwa taifa lolote na kwa maendeleo ya nchi au kwa jumla ulimwengu mzima. Kwanza kabisa, umuhimu wa viwango ni kuwa sinaweza kufanya ukapata dhamana ya pesa zako ambazo umewekeza ama kununua bidhaa. Kwa hivyo bidhaa ambazo hazikamiliki kwa viwango fulani zinaweza pia kukudhuru. Na kwa hivyo uwekaji wa bidhaa unahakikisha kuwa unatumia bidhaa ambazo siko salama kwako, siko salama kwa mazingira pia, environment, na siko pia sina adhimisha ile madhumuni ambayo ungependa hizo bidhaa ziweze kukamilisha. Kwa hivyo tuseme unaponunua sabuni na labda unataka ioshe nguo na siwe safi, ni lazima iwe na vigezo fulani katika ndani ya hiyo sabuni ili uweze kukamilisha kuosha bidhaa zako na zikamilike kulingana na viwango. Bila viwango unaweza kutumia sabuni nyingi, pia inaweza kudhuru inaweza kukudhuru wewe kama mtumiaji in terms of safety, na vile vile inaweza pia kudhuru mazingira. Kwa hivyo tunatengeneza viwango viwe salama kwako kama mtumizi, vile vile kwa inji na kwa watu wote. Kwa hivyo muhimu wa viwango ni lazima tukamilishe, tuhakikishe kuwa viwango vinadhimishwa katika kila hali. Licha ya changamoto nyingi, tunaweza kuhakikisha kuwa viwango vinakusaidia wewe kama mwananchi, vinakusaidia wewe kama mfanyabiashara, pia ukue na kuwezesha bidhaa zako kufika soko lolote ambalo linakubalika na viwango. Viwango pia vinaweza kutumika tuseme kwa utafiti. Vinaweza kutumika kama njia ya kuanzisha utafiti na kuhakikisha kuwa unapotengeneza kitu fulani kuna mahali ambapo unaanzia. Uanzi popote, unaanzia kwa viwango ili unapoanza utafiti hata unahakikisha kuwa utafiti wako umelinganishwa na viwango ambavyo vimeweka. Pia viwango vinaweza kusaidia tuseme mashirika ambayo yanadhimisha sheria, regulators. Kwa vile wanaweza kutumia viwango kuhakikisha kuwa sheria ambazo zinawekwa pia zinalinganishwa na viwango na asihitafiani. They do not conflict kabisa na viwango ambapo viko, na zinaweza kusaidia biashara kuhakikisha kuwa ni rahisi kueneza sheria na wananchi wanaweza kufuata kwa urahisi.
Umepeana utangulizi ambao ni mzuri sana, na utakuta vipo bidhaa ambavyo tunatumia ni rahisi sana kujua kama hiki kiwango ni kizuri na hiki si kizuri. Kwa mfano nikienda soko na nataka kununua spinach, nikiangalia naweza kuangalia niseme hizi mboga hizi hizi zimeharibika, hizi si nzuri. Wajua nikivuna mahindi naweza kusema mahindi haya yako sawa kabisa, ama nikianunua yako sawa, haya mengine yako sawa. Lakini kuna bidhaa zingine ambazo mtu hawezi akajua basi ubora wake uko vipi. Ni vipi mwananchi atajua kwamba bidhaa hizi ambazo natumia ziko bora na hizi kiwango chake kiko chini?
Asante sana. Umesema vizuri kuwa kuna vitu ambavyo tunaweka katika viwango. Tuseme sila appearances ambazo unaweza kuona kwa macho kwa urahisi na uweze kusema kuwa hiki ni kitu kisafi, kinaonekana mzuri. Na kuna vile ambavyo tunaweza kusema labda siko ndani na hawezi kujua kwa haraka. Kwa hivyo lazima upeleke katika mahabara, sifanywe testing, sikaguliwe na sijulikane kama siko salama kwako. Lakini kama mwananchi unapoenda katika soko na unataka kununua bidhaa, ni rahisi kutambua kuwa hiki kifaa ama bidhaa siko bora kwa kuangalia kuwa siko na ile alama ambayo ni ya KEBS. Kuna ile permit ambayo tunapeana iko na alama ya KEBS, na chini yake tumeandika nambari inaanza na alama ya reli, alafu inafuatia na namba tuseme alama ya reli, alafu nambari 1, 2, 3, 4, ama inaweza kuwa na namba. Hiyo namba ni muhimu kwako kama mnunuzi ama mtumiaji wa bidhaa katika soko. Kile unachoweza kufanya kwa haraka ni kutumia ujumbe mfupi. Unaweza kuandika ujumbe mfupi, uandike unataka kutuma kwa nambari ya 20003, alafu unaandika hiyo alama chini ya hiyo ujumbe mfupi, alafu unatuma. Utapata message inarudi kwako kukuonyesha kuwa hiyo bidhaa imekuwa tested, imekaguliwa na shirika la KEBS na bado ni halali. Usipopata ile message rudi kwako, inaonyesha kuwa hiyo bidhaa sio halali, labda ni gushi ama mtu amefake ile nambari ambayo ameweka katika ile alama. Kwa hivyo tuna waagiza wananchi waajibike na KEBS waweze kutuma ujumbe kwetu kama shirika la KEBS. Kuna pia nambari ambayo ni hotline 1545 ambayo unaweza kupika na ukaripoti kuwa umepata bidhaa fulani na sio halali katika soko, na hapo tutatuma maafisa wetu ambao wanakagua bidhaa na kushughulikia hiyo hali kwa haraka iwezekanavyo, ili wananchi wasiathirike na bidhaa hizi katika soko.
Kwa hivyo kuna ile nambari ataiona katika zile bidhaa ambazo wameenda kununua. Kwa mfano nimeenda kununua maji na kiu na nimeingia katika duka, nimeitisha maji, alafu yale maji nikiangalia kwa haraka, mara nyingi yazo utakuta kwamba imewekwa alama ya KEBS. Hivyo tu. Na watu sasa mwananchi shazoea kwamba ukiona tu KEBS basi ni hivyo, iko sawa kabisa.
Ni hakikisho kuwa bidhaa ambazo ziko katika soko na hiyo alama siko salama. Kwa hivyo ukiona ile alama ya KEBS, na tuna maafisa ambao wanatembea katika soko kila wakati kwa kuwa na kuondoa bidhaa ambazo siko na alama ama labda sina alama na siko katika soko. Kwa hivyo kupitia kwa hao maafisa wa KEBS tunahakikisha kuwa bidhaa nyingi katika soko siko salama. Ijapokuwa unaweza kupata moja ama mbili ambazo siko na alama na sio halali, lakini unapopata ile alama ni hakikisho kuwa tumekakua ile bidhaa na tumeweka ile alama na kuhakikishia kuwa unaponunua hiyo bidhaa iko salama. Lakini kwako kama mnunuzi pia labda tu unataka kuhakikisha kuwa bado iko salama, ni kutumia ile ujumbe ambayo nimesema 20023 unapotuma, alafu unapata hakikisho kuwa iko salama. Is double assurance kuhakikisha kuwa iko salama. Lakini labda wewe mwananchi unataka pia kuhakikisha kuwa iko salama kwa kutuma ile ujumbe kwa 20023 na unaandika ile nambari ambayo iko chini ambayo inaanza na mlio na alama ya reli, alafu inafuatia na ile namba. Unatuma hiyo namba tu na unapata message inarudi kwako kuhakikisha kuwa iko halali.
Lakini mara si moja tumeona bidhaa gushi zikipatikana bado ziko na nembo ya KEBS. Inakuwaje tufikie hapo kwamba hao ambao wanafanya shughuli hii tuseme ni watu ambao wamo mle ndani, labda wanafanya kazi na maafisa wa KEBS wakapata zile nembo wakaweka katika bidhaa, ama inakuwaje?
Kuna uwezekano kuwa bidhaa zinaweza kuwa kadhaa ambazo siko na ile nembo, na kwa wale wafanya biashara labda walagai wanataka kupata faida kwa haraka na wanaona wakiwa na ile alama ya KEBS wataweza kuhakikisha bidhaa zao zinauzwa. Kwa hivyo kuna uwezekano, lakini vile nilivyosema kuna maafisa wa KEBS ambao wanazunguka kila wakati, kila siku wanazunguka katika masoko na kukagua hizi bidhaa, kuhakikisha kuwa vile bidhaa ambazo ziko na alama ya KEBS ni zile ambazo zimekaguliwa pekee ambazo zitabaki kwenye soko. Lakini vile ulivyosema, kwa mara moja ama mara nyingine kuna uwezekano kupatikana na hizo bidhaa, na kwa hivyo tuna wahimiza wananchi pia wanapopata hizo bidhaa watueleze kama KEBS labda zimefichika na maafisa wetu hawajaweza kuzipata. Kwa hivyo tufanye kazi pamoja ili kuviondoa kabisa kwenye soko. Na kuna pia punishment ambayo inapeana tunapopata hizo bidhaa na labda zinahusika na mfanyabiashara fulani. Kuna sheria ambayo tunafuata pia, tunampeleka kotini, pia tunahakikisha kuwa ameondoa hizo bidhaa zote kabisa katika soko. Ni hasara kubwa kwako kama mfanyabiashara unapotumia alama ya KEBS ambayo si halali kuweka bidhaa zako kwa soko, kwa vile ile adhabu utakayopata ni ngumu sana, ninaweza kupeleka chini kabisa na uweze kufanya biashara tena. Lakini kwa jumla tunasema kuwa maafisa wa KEBS wako macho na wako kila mahali kuhakikisha kuwa wananchi wanapata bidhaa ambazo siko halali na siko salama kwa matumizi yao.
Mfano mzuri ni hivi majuzi, siku chache zilizopita, ambapo serikali ilipata mafuta mengi ya kima cha shilingi milioni 100 ambayo ilikuwa feki. Nafikiri ilikuwa ukanda wa Pwani na mambo kama yale. Iweje kwamba kutakuwa na mtu anafanya biashara kwa muda mrefu kama hao walikuwa wanafanya biashara, na nafikiri walikuwa wanafanya kwa muda fulani, ikawa kwamba ninyi maafisa hamjui mwananchi amekuwa akizitumia ama ametumia yale mafuta kwa muda hata miezi 3, miezi 4 na mjapata habari?
Tumepata hiyo habari, lakini nataka kusema kuwa KEBS tumechukua hatua ambazo ni halali kuhakikisha kuwa wananchi wanapata mafuta yenye iko safi, na labda tutarudi baadaye tuelezee vile tunavyotengeneza viwango, vile wananchi wanavyoweka bidhaa viwango ama requirements kwenye viwango. Kuna steps ama hatua kadhaa ambazo tunafuata, lakini kwa jumla tunapopata bidhaa kama hizo sokoni tunahakikisha kama KEBS tumeondoa kabisa na tumepeana adhabu gali kwa ile mfanyabiashara ambaye anataka kuleta bidhaa ambazo asiwiani na viwango ambavyo vimewekwa. Lakini ukiangalia katika viwango pia tunasema viwango ni zile ambazo zinaendelea kubadilishwa, zinaendelea kuwa developed, zinaendelea pia kuenezwa na kuwa hali ya juu kabisa. Kwa hiyo labda mwezi tuseme labda mwaka uliopita kulikuwa na kiwango fulani, lakini mwaka huu hicho kiwango kimebadilishwa na kimeongezwa vitu kadhaa ambazo mwananchi pia anatakana ajue kuwa hizo viwango ni za kisasa na sio zile ambazo zilikuwa zinatumika hapo mwanzo.
Kwa mwananchi ambaye anakutazama na pia anakusikiliza, hakikisho ambalo unaweza kutoa kwao ni lipi kuhusiana na hali ya bidhaa ambazo wanatumia kwa sasa? Viwango vyake viko vipi kwa asilimia kubwa? Labda vile ambavyo wanatumia viko sawa, kiwango cha wastani, ama pia viko kiwango cha chini kabisa?
Kwa asilimia kubwa bidhaa ambazo ziko sokoni, na nilisema kuwa KBC tumechukua jukumu kuhakikisha kuwa bidhaa ambazo wananchi wanapata siko salama. Kwa sehemu kubwa naweza kusema bidhaa ambazo siko sokoni siko salama. Labda kwa sehemu moja mahali pengine ama mahali patoko tunaweza kuwa na upungufu fulani, lakini kwa asilimia kubwa kabisa bidhaa ambazo siko sokoni ni salama kwa wananchi. Haswa ukipata ile ambayo tumeweka ile standardization mark, hizo bidhaa siko salama kabisa, na tunahakikisha wananchi kuwa waendelee kuzitumia, na sisi kama shirika la ubora tutahakikisha kuwa bidhaa ambazo siko sokoni ama labda sinaweza kuwekwa sokoni ambazo asitimii yale maagizo ama vile viwango, tuhakikisha asiwezi kupatikana kabisa. Lakini kwa jumla, kwa asilimia kubwa bidhaa ambazo ziko sokoni ziko salama kwa utumizi wa namna yoyote ile. Kwa vile nimesema kuwa tunahakikisha kuwa hizo bidhaa ziko salama kwa matumizi kwa jumla, pia sina usalama fulani ambao tunaweza kusema sina protect environment, mazingira ziko salama pia, na vile asiwezi kumdhuru mwananchi.
Ninyi kama shirika la ubora wa bidhaa hapa nchini, labda kwa sasa nimetaja tu mfano ya baadhi ya bidhaa ambazo katika siku za hivi karibuni, mafuta ya kupikia ambayo yalipatikana, ambayo tunasema kwamba yalikuwa gushi, tutumie hilo jina. Kufikia sasa, labda unaweza kupeana takwimu na ukasema sisi kama shirika la ubora wa bidhaa katika siku za hivi karibuni na hapo awali tumefanya haya, tumekamata bidhaa vya kiwango hiki, na hii ndio hatua ambayo tumechukulia wale ambao wamehusika katika kuwatapeli wa Kenya.
Shirika la Kenya Bureau of Standards lilianzishwa na sheria ya bunge ambayo ni sehemu namba 996 ya sheria za Kenya. Kwa hivyo kutumia ile kifungu cha sheria, tunachukua adhabu kali kwa mfanyabiashara yeyote ambaye anapatikana kwenye soko na bidhaa kushi ama bidhaa ambazo hasilingani na vile viwango ambavyo vimewekwa. Kwa hivyo vile ulivyosema, labda kwa miaka kadhaa ambayo imepita tumekuwa na changamoto kwa tunapata bidhaa ambazo asilingani na viwango vimewekwa, lakini tumechukua hatua kali sana kulingana na sheria, na wale wafanyabiashara tumeweza kufunga biashara zao, wale wanao peana bidhaa ambazo asilinganishwi na vile viwango ambavyo tumewekwa. Pia tumeweza kupeana fines katika kulingana na sheria pia ile Standards Act Cap 496. Kwa hivyo kama KBC tumechukua hatua ambazo zinalingana na sheria ambazo zimewekwa, na vile nimesema kuwa kila siku kuna wale wa maafisa wa KBC wanatembea na kukagua bidhaa katika soko kuhakikisha kuwa mwananchi anapata bidhaa zenye zimelingana na viwango ambavyo vimewekwa.
Lakini kwa mujibu wa sheria ambazo mko nazo ninyi kama shirika la kukadiria ubora wa bidhaa hapa nchini, sheria zinasemaje kwamba kwa mfano ukimpata mtu ambaye alikuwa anauza bidhaa gushi, adabu yake ama adhabu yake ni gani? Kifungo, labda anatoa faini? Vipi mnakabiliana na mambo kama kisheria kulingana na zile sheria ambazo mmeweka?
Kulingana na sheria sana kabisa vile nimesema kuwa tumeweza kufunga. Sheria inapatia shirika la Kenya Bureau of Standards, shirika la viwango, ile nguvu ya kufunga. Tuseme kama wewe ni mfanyabiashara wa kiwanda fulani, unatengeneza bidhaa ambazo hasikamiliki na viwango ambavyo vimeweka, inatupatia nguvu kama shirika la ubora kufunga kiwanda kabisa, na unaweza kukadhiria hasara ambayo unaweza kupata ukifunga kiwanda chako kwa sababu labda bidhaa 2 ama 3 hazikuweza kufikia vile viwango ambavyo vimewekwa. Pia katika sheria hiyo kuna ile ambayo ni fines ambazo zimewekwa kupelekwa kotini, pale unaweza kutolewa fine, lakini hizo fines zilikuwa chini kabisa. Kwa hivyo tumefanya kwa sasa tunajaribu kufanya amendment of the act ibadilishe ili iweke adhabu kali kabisa. Kwa vile unaposhika mtu alafu labda sheria inasema unatoa 10,000, hizo ni pesa kidogo sana, haiwezi kumfanya mfanyabiashara kutorudia hilo kosa. Lakini iwapo hiyo fine ingeongezwa na ikue kubwa kabisa, inaweza kuwa kama hatarisho kwa mfanyabiashara ambaye yeyote anataka kuweka viwango kwa soko, na naona kuwa iwapo atapatikana, ile fine ambaye atapewa itakuwa juu sana na haitamwezesha kurudi tena sokoni. Kwa hivyo kama shirika la Kenya Bureau of Standards tunaangalia hizo sheria, tunawasiliana na stakeholders, washikadau kadhaa waangalie sheria ibatilishwe ili adhabu ikuwe kali na kufanya kuwa wananchi hawatapata bidhaa ambazo asikamiliki na viwango ambavyo vimewekwa.
Sijasikia kampuni ambayo imefunga kwa sababu ya mambo kama haya.
Siko nyingi hapo awali tumezifunga, lakini sasa vile nimesema ile fine ambayo tunatoa ni kidogo, lakini vile vile pia tumeweza kufanya publication katika makaseti kadhaa tunapokupata na bidhaa ambazo asifai. Pia tunafanya publication, tunajulisha wananchi kuwa usinunue bidhaa fulani iwapo utasipata kwa vile asikamiliki na viwango ambavyo vimewekwa. Pia tunaambia wale wafanya biashara waweze kusiondoa kabisa bidhaa hizo sokoni. Kwa hivyo hizo tumeweza kufanya publication kadhaa, tukaonya wananchi iwapo watapata bidhaa ambazo asikamiliki na viwango wasiweze kusitumia kabisa.
Bwana Lukorito, pia tunaishi katika enzi ya masuala ya kidijitali na vile vile mambo ya teknolojia, na sijui ninyi kama shirika la kukadiria ubora wa bidhaa hapa nchini, kama kwa sasa kuna vile mnatumia teknolojia kuhakikisha kwamba mnaboresha viwango vya bidhaa ambazo wananchi wanatumia hapa nchini.
Ya, labda nitarudi nyuma kidogo na kuelezea vile tunavyoweka viwango. Kwanza tunatumia wafundi ama technical teams kutoka sekta mbalimbali. Kwa vile kunao wale wanaotengeneza bidhaa, kuna wale ambao wanafanya utafiti tuseme kutoka vyuo vikuu na research institutions, alafu vile vile kuna wale ambao ni customers ama consumers, wale wanaotumia hizo bidhaa. Pia kuna sila associations ambazo tunasiweka pamoja zote, sina form tunaweka ile technical committee ambayo inatengeneza hizo viwango. Kwa hivyo viwango vinatengenezwa na watu wengi, na shirika la KEBS wale nashikilia ile sehemu ya secretariat. Kwa hivyo tunaweka wale stakeholders kutoka sehemu mbali, washikadau kutoka sehemu mbali ambao wanakaa pamoja, alafu wanakubaliana kwa hiki ndicho kiwango fulani kitakacho wezesha bidhaa fulani kuwa sokoni. Kwa hivyo tunapotengeneza hiki kiwango, tunapata maelezo kutoka kwa sehemu mbalimbali ambayo wanaweza kueleza kwa hii ndio kiwango muhimu sana. Kwa hivyo kuendelea mbele ni kwamba kuwa tunapoweka hiyo kiwango standard, for example, inahakikisha kuwa unapotengeneza bidhaa zako ni heri ufuate ile kiwango ambayo imewekwa, ili mwishowe usipatikane kwenye sehemu mbaya ambayo bidhaa zako hazikamilishi viwango kwa sababu haukufuata kutoka mwanzo. Kwa hivyo kama KEBS pia tuna create awareness, tunatembelea kila mahali tukieleza viwango ambavyo vimewekwa. Ikiwa tunaweka washikadau tuseme wale wa kutengeneza magari, tunaweka pamoja, tunawaelezea kwa hivi ndivyo viwango vya hii sekta yako. Tunaweka wale wa kufanya kwa mfano wale wanaozalisha vyakula labda maziwa, tunaweka pamoja, tunawaelezea hizi ndivyo viwango. Hiyo elimu ambayo tunapitisha inawezesha kuwa wale wafanyabiashara ama wale wanaotengeneza hizi bidhaa wanahakikisha kuwa bidhaa wanazotengeneza mwanzo wameelewa viwango gani ambazo zinatakana kupatikana. Kwa hivyo tukiendelea hivyo, tunaona kuwa tunaweza kuwa na bidhaa 100% zikiwa zinakamilika na viwango ambavyo vimewekwa, na tutapunguza tatizo kubwa sana ambalo labda tunaweza kupata bidhaa moja ama mbili katika soko haviwezi kukamilisha vile viwango ambavyo vimewekwa.
Shukrani sana. Bila shaka mtazamaji unaendelea kufuatilia majadiliano haya, na vile vile msikilizaji wa KBC Radio Taifa. Hii leo tunaangazia masuala ya ubora na viwango katika bidhaa vile ambavyo tunatumia pale nyumbani. Je, wewe kama msikilizaji ama mtazamaji unaweza ukajua kwamba kiwango cha hiki kitu ambacho natumia, hivi bidhaa ambavyo natumia nyumbani ni vya halali, ni vya kiwango vya wastani, ama kulingana na vile viwango ambavyo vimewekwa na KEBS, ukipenda shirika la ukadiriaji wa ubora wa bidhaa hapa nchini Kenya. Kwa hivyo kama una swali liweke pale katika mitandao yetu, alafu tutakuwa tunaweza kuiangazia katika muda usiokuwa mrefu. Hapa studioni basi naye Bwana Zakaria Lukorito ambaye pia ni mkurugenzi mkuu wa maendeleo ya viwango na vile vile biashara pale katika shirika hili la KEBS. Bwana Lukorito, kwa kawaida najua kwamba hamwezi mkafanya kazi peke yenu, sijui vipi mnashirikiana labda na maafisa labda wa DCI ama pia lile shirika ambalo linashughulikia bidhaa gushi, zile counterfeit goods, vipi mnashirikiana kwa sasa? Labda kama mnashirikiana, hebu tupatie ile tunasema scorecard, mambo yenu yanaenda vipi kuhakikisha kwamba mwananchi vile bidhaa ambazo anatumia zinakuwa zina viwango ambavyo vinahitajika?
Asante sana. Tunashirikiana na mashirika kadhaa ambayo halmashauri kadhaa za serikali ambazo pia zina hakikisha kuwa wananchi wako salama kwa kutumia bidhaa fulani. Umeeleza pale kuna ile anti counterfeit agency ambayo tunashirikiana nayo, ambayo wanapoenda labda wanakakua bidhaa fulani wanapata kuwa imekuwa counterfeited. Counterfeited hapa ni kwamba huwa ile bidhaa sio halali, si ate haiko na ile kiwango, labda inaweza kuwa imekamilika kile kiwango lakini sio halali, labda mtu amefanya copying. Kwa hivyo ile shirika la anti counterfeit agency linadili na hizo bidhaa, lakini wanapopata ile bidhaa pia wanatueleza na kuhakikisha kuwa pia labda iko substandard, hailingani na zile standards ambazo tumeweka.
Kwa hivyo pale kidogo tu, kwa hivyo upo uwezekano kwamba bidhaa zikapatikana ambazo zimefikisha kiwango ambacho ninyi mnataka, lakini katika soko kwa mjibu wa ile halmashauri ambayo inashughulikia bidhaa gushi, ukasema kwamba pia vile ama zile bidhaa si sawa, ni gushi. Kwa hivyo inaweza meet your standards, lakini upande mwingine kuna tatizo.
Kuna uwezekano kuwa bidhaa gushi pia zinaweza kumiti zile standards, zinaweza kuwa bora, lakini mtu amefanya copying ya bidhaa za mtu. Kwa hivyo ile shirika la anti counterfeit linafanya hiyo shughuli, lakini kuna uwezekano pia hizo bidhaa zinaweza kuwa pia siko gushi na vile vile asikamiliki na vile viwango ambavyo vimewekwa na shirika la KBC. Kwa hivyo inakuwa na double, ile sehemu mbili ni gushi na tena asikamiliki na viwango.
Sasa wewe kama afisa kwa mfano kutoka KBC umepata hivi bidhaa sawa, vimefikisha viwango ambavyo mnataka, lakini ni gushi, mnaruhusu wananchi watumie ama sasa mnapiga ripoti kwa ile halmashauri nyingine?
Hapo ndipo niliposema tunashirikiana na mashirika mengine. Kama ni gushi, hapo tunawaeleza wale anti counterfeit agents, pia wanachukua hatua kulingana na sheria ya anti counterfeit agents. Vile vile wanapopata hizo bidhaa ambazo ni gushi na vile vile asimiti zile standards ambazo tumeweka, wanatuelezea. Kwa vile tunafanya kazi pamoja kama mashirika mawili. Kwa hivyo tumejaribu kufanya kazi sana pamoja na kuhakikisha kuwa wananchi wanapata bidhaa ambazo ziko halali na vile vile hitimu zile viwango ambazo tumeweka kama shirika la Kenya Bureau of Standards. Vile vile tunafanya kazi na mashauri mengine. Tuna mashauri mengine kama ile ya usalama barabarani NTSA, tunafanya kazi nao. Tuna mashirika kama vile ile ya Kawi na Petroleum Authority EPRA, tunafanya nao kazi. Kwa vile tunaweka standards, lakini kuna ile mashirika mengine ambayo pia yana jukumu fulani katika sheria kuhakikisha kuwa zile standards kamilika pia. Kwa hivyo tunafanya ile multi agencies na teams zingine na regulators wengine ambao tunafanya pamoja kazi nao kuhakikisha kuwa standard iko, nao pia wanatumia hiyo standard kulingana na sheria yao kuhakikisha kuwa mwananchi anapata bidhaa ambazo siko halali na pia zimekamilika na sheria kadhaa.
Sijui, lakini utanisaidia kuelewa iwapo wakati tunazungumzia viwango kwamba inakuwa standard inakuwa across the world ni sawa ama inatofautiana katika mataifa mbalimbali, hilo utanieleza. Lakini ndio nipate kuelewa, kuna vyakula na kuna bidhaa ambazo tunaagiza kutoka mataifa ya nje, na bidhaa hizi basi mnafanyaje kuhakikisha kwamba pia vimeafikia viwango ambavyo ninyi mmeweka kama shirika la kukadiria ubora wa bidhaa hapa nchini na zimetoka katika mataifa mengine?
Na katika nje yote ile, tuseme Kenya, Tanzania, iwe Uingereza, iko na viwango za kitaifa. Hiyo ni sehemu ya kwanza kabisa. Kwa vile kila nchi iko na standards zao ambazo ni national standards. Na ukiendelea juu, tuseme kama Jumuiya ya Afrika Mashariki, mataifa kadhaa yanaunganishwa pamoja, alafu yanakubaliana kama sisi katika eneo la Afrika Mashariki tumekubaliana kuwa tuwe na standard moja ambayo inatumika kote katika mataifa haya ya Afrika Mashariki. Vile vile ukienda katika tuseme Afrika, kuna vile ile shirika ambalo linaweka standard moja, harmonization of standards for example. Hilo shirika nalo pia tunahakikisha kwa Afrika mzima labda tuwe na standard fulani, tuseme labda ni mahindi, tukuwe na standard moja ama kiwango kimoja cha mahindi. Kwa vile ukiwa na viwango tofauti. Kenya ikuwe na kiwango tofauti, labda Tanzania ikuwe na kiwango tofauti. Kwa hivyo sisi tumepeana kibali kulingana na kiwango chetu. Lakini unapopeleka pale Tanzania, labda waseme sisi pia tutapima bidhaa zako ili tuhakikishe kuwa sina kamilika na viwango vyetu. Kwa hiyo mkiwa na ile kiwango kimoja ambacho kimekubalika katika tuseme sehemu fulani kama Afrika Mashariki, unapokakua bidhaa hapa Kenya alafu ikuwe na ile alama, ikienda pale Tanzania hawataweza kukakua tena bidhaa zako, zitakubaliwa moja kwa moja kwa sababu kiwango ni kimoja, na wamehakikishiwa na shirika la Kenya Bureau of Standards kuwa tumekakua hiki bidhaa na siko na ile alama. Vile vile katika kimataifa kuna zile international standards ambazo zinatengenezwa na shirika la ISO ambayo ni global standard. Kwa vile ukiwa na bidhaa ambazo zinaunganishwa na zimekamilisha ile international standard, inapokuja kwetu kama shirika la KEBS tunakubaliana nayo kuwa hii bidhaa imetengenezwa na imekaguliwa kulingana na ile kiwango kimoja ambacho kimekubaliwa kimataifa kwa jumla. Kwa hivyo bidhaa zinapotoka tuseme Uingereza ama kutoka nchi nyingine ambazo zinakuja hapa, tuna wale agents ambao tumeappoint wanaokagua hizo bidhaa kulingana, kama kuna standard ile ya kimataifa wanakagua na ile standard ya kimataifa. Kama hakuna ile standard ya kimataifa, watachukua ile standard yetu ya Kenya ambayo tumetengeneza, wakakua hiyo bidhaa na wapeane hiyo mark kwa hiyo bidhaa ama ile certificate ya kuonyesha tumekagua hii bidhaa kulingana na standard yenu Kenya. Kwa hivyo inapofika hapo tuseme port, tunaangalia kama imekaguliwa kulingana na ile standard ambayo imewekwa na tunakubali ile certificate ambayo tumepeana wale agents wakakua hizo bidhaa na kuhakikisha kuwa siko salama zinapofika hapa.
Umezungumzia mambo ya ISO standards, ISO certification. Hata sisi kama shirika ya ISO certified. Naam. Lakini iweje kwamba utakuta kwamba wakati mwingine vipo bidhaa ambazo zimetoka katika mataifa mengine alafu nasikia kwamba zilikuwa gushi zimeingia hapa nchini Kenya, ilhali kila taifa umesema kwamba kina kiwango cha kuhakikisha kwamba ubora wa bidhaa upo. Iweje kwamba tunakuja baadaye tunakuwa na bidhaa ambazo aidha viwango vyake viko chini ama tunasema kwamba ni gushi na imepita labda mipakani, labda jirani zetu?
Kuna sehemu mbili ambayo nimesema kuwa bidhaa labda zinaweza kukalkuliwa katika pale ambazo zimetengenezwa, tuseme kama zimetengenezwa Tanzania na zinakuja huku zikakuliwa pale na sipewe certificate. Kama zinatoka kutoka labda Uingereza zikakuliwa pale na sipewe certificate, ile certificate tutaikubali kwa vile wale agents ni wale wanaofanya kazi kwa niaba yetu kule Uingereza. Lakini vile vile kuna ile njia ya pili ambayo unaweza kuleta bidhaa zako bila kukalkuliwa pale, na zinapofika hapa pale kwa port, lazima sisi kama Kenya Bureau of Standards tukakue pile zile bidhaa. Kwa hivyo tutasiweka pale tukakue kulingana na standard yetu, inaitwa destination inspection, inakubaliwa pia. Kuna hizo njia mbili, unaweza kukakua bidhaa zako pale ambazo zimetengenezwa, ama unaweza pia kusileta hapa katika Kenya sikuwa pale port ama pale entry point, tukasikakua na tukakubali ziingie. Na tukipata kuwa zile bidhaa zimefika pale na labda asiwezi kufikia vile viwango ambavyo vimewekwa, tunakupatia kama mfanyabiashara uweze kurudisha zile bidhaa kule ambapo zimetoka ili siweze kuingia hapa. Na vile vile umesema kuwa labda kuna zile porous entry points ambazo labda bidhaa zinaweza kupenya kwa njia moja ama nyingine, lakini kama shirika la KEBS tumeweka maafisa katika kila sehemu ya entry hapa nchini, labda ile porous tu ambayo itaweza kupatikana, na hapo ndio tunaweza sasa kuenda ile second step ambayo nimesema kuna maafisa wale ambao wanatembea katika kila mahali kwa soko kuhakikisha kuwa bidhaa ziko safi. Kwa hivyo kuna ile surveillance ambayo wanafanya na kuhakikisha kuwa labda kama bidhaa ilipenya ikaingia kwa njia moja ama nyingine, ndio zinaweza kupatikana sikiwa sokoni na kuhakikisha kuwa mwananchi anapata bidhaa ambazo ziko salama.
Wacha nitumie mfano kwenye Biblia. Nasema kwamba watu wangu waangamia kwa kukosa maarifa. Watu wanaangamia kwa kukosa maarifa. Na kuleta huo muktadha nyumbani, ningependa kujua ninyi kama shirika la ukadiriaji ubora wa bidhaa hapa nchini, ni nini ambacho mnafanya kuhakikisha kwamba mwananchi anapata hamasa ama elimu ambayo anapaswa kuipata, kujua kwamba hivi ndivyo utajua bidhaa hii ni bandia, kwa mfano hii haijafikia viwango, na athari ya wewe labda kutumia hivi bidhaa ni 1, 2, 3.
Asante sana. Tumeweza kuelimisha wananchi kwa njia nyingi sana 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 kupitia zile kongamano ambazo tumeweza kuandaa katika maeneo mbalimbali. Tunashirikiana pia na wale washikadau wengine, tuseme kama zile shirika la Kenya Association of Manufacturers, tunashirikiana nao, wanaleta wafanyi biashara wote ambao ni wa sekta fulani pamoja. Kwa hivyo tunakuwa na ile elimu ambayo tunawaeleza kwa unapofanya biashara katika hizi bidhaa fulani, hizi ndizo viwango ambazo zimewekwa, na tunawaelezea moja kwa moja inatakana ilinganishwe na hii sehemu katika ile kiwango ambayo imewekwa. Kwa hivyo kuna ile elimu ambayo tumeweza kupitisha kwa wananchi kwa mara nyingi sana. Hata vile vile tumeweza kufanya katika entry points pale kwa ports, tumeweza kuwa na wafanyabiashara ambao wanaleta bidhaa na tunawaelezea zile standards ambazo wanaweza kumit. Kwa hivyo tumeweza kufanya kwa sehemu nyingi sana katika maeneo mbalimbali, na kama shirika la Kenya Bureau of Standards pia tuko na afisi katika sehemu mbalimbali. Kuna afisi pale Pwani Coast ambayo inashughulika na eneo lile la Coast kuja mpaka Taveta huku. Kuna vile vile afisi nyingine pale Nakuru, kuna afisi pale Kisumu, kuna afisi pale Eldoret, kuna afisi pale Karisa, alafu kuna afisi pale Nyeri, pia tuko na afisi na pale Meru. Kwa hivyo tumeweza kupeleka services ya KEBS kwa wananchi kabisa, na kuhakikisha kuwa wanapata elimu kulingana na standards ambazo zimewekwa, na kuhakikisha kuwa wanapotengeneza bidhaa sawa pia tunawasaidia waweze kufikisha vile viwango ambavyo vimewekwa, ili wapate kupata masoko sio hapa nchini pekee, hata katika nchi za majirani pia waweze kupata soko, kwa sababu bidhaa zao zimekamilisha vile viwango ambazo zimewekwa.
Muda si mrefu tena upande wa pili tuweze kupokea simu chache, lakini nimekusikiza vizuri. Umesema mna afisi katika kaunti ama maeneo mbalimbali na mnashirikiana sana na wafanyabiashara, labda kama pia vile umesema Kenya Association of Manufacturers na labda washikadau wengine. Nataka sana kujua, kwa mfano hata mkuu na ofisi, maana ni jambo moja kuwa na afisi kwa mfano katika jiji fulani katika kaunti, lakini ni jambo lingine kuhakikisha kwamba ile ofisi inaandaa labda hafla ama mikutano ya wananchi kwa masisho. Achana na washikadau sasa, wale wa kutengeneza bidhaa na wale wafanyabiashara. Sasa tuko na hao wananchi consumer kama Dora hivi. Sasa nataka kujua kama mnakuwa na mikutano aina hiyo, na ambapo mwananchi anaelimishwa kwamba hivi bidhaa utajua kwamba hii ni bora, hii si bora, hii ni gushi, hii si gushi, na athari yake katika maisha yako kutumia kwa mfano bidhaa ambazo hazina viwango ambazo zimewekwa.
Naam, tumeweza kufanya hilo kwa hizo sehemu ambazo nimeeleza, kwa ile maafisi za KEBS ambazo tumeweka pale. Tumeweza kufanya hilo ile awareness ambayo tumeweza kuhamasisha wananchi wale wanaotumia bidhaa pamoja na wafanyabiashara. Vile vile hapa Nairobi tumeweza kuwa na zile kongamano nyingi sana. Pale Kariobangi tumeshakuwa nayo, tunawasiliana na wafanyabiashara wadogo vile wanavyoweza pia kuhakikisha bidhaa zao zimekamilika na viwango ambavyo vimewekwa. Tumeweza pia kuleta wale ambao wanatumia hivi bidhaa pamoja, kuelezea vile nilivyoeleza ile nambari, labda wanataka kuhakikisha kuwa hivi bidhaa zimekamilika vile viwango, wanaweza kutumia ile ujumbe mfupi. Kwa hivyo tumekuwa na zile workshops katika sehemu nyingi sana. Nimeelezea pale Kariobangi tumeweza kuwa nayo, vile vile pale Kenya Bureau of Standards tumeweza kuita wafanyabiashara na wale wanaotumia biashara wakuje pamoja tukawaelezea. Vile vile tumeweza kuwa na specific workshop na Carrefour, wale wanaosambaza bidhaa zao tuseme wanapeleka pale Carrefour, tukakuwa nao tukawaelezea standards ambazo wanahitajika kufuata ili bidhaa zao sikubalike na mashirika kama zile supermarket. Na tutaendelea kuwa na hizo kongamano kadhaa ili kuelezea wananchi vile wanavyoweza kuhakikisha kuwa wanatumia bidhaa ambazo ziko salama, na vile vile wafanye biashara wahakikishe kuwa bidhaa zao zimelingana na vile viwango ambavyo tumeweka.
Naam, tukijiandaa kwenda upande wa pili wapo mwelekezi tuko sawa, na pia baadaye tutaangazia swala zima. Najua kwamba tarehe 14 Oktoba ni siku ya kimataifa ya masuala ya viwango, right? World Standards Day. Labda kidogo tuambia kile ambacho mnajiandaa kufanya siku hiyo, lakini kabla hapo labda kwa ufupi tu kwa dakika moja, hatua gani ambazo huwa mnaweka, the process ya kuhakikisha kwamba mnafikia zile standards ambazo wananchi wanahitaji kuwa nazo katika kazi yenu ni gani?
Asante sana. Vile nilivyoeleza, viwango vinatengenezwa kupitia ile kamati ya kiufundi inaitwa technical committee, kamati ya kiufundi ambayo imewekwa pamoja na washikadau kutoka sehemu mbalimbali. Kuna wale ambao wanatengeneza hizo bidhaa, manufacturers. Kuna wale ambao ni regulators, yale mashirika yanayohakikisha kuwa viwango vipo. Kuna wale ambao pia ni wafanyabiashara. Kuna wale ambao pia ni academia ama wale wanaofanya research. Wanakuja pamoja, tunaketi pamoja kwa meza, alafu jadiliana viwango ambavyo tunawekwa kupitia ile kamati ya kiufundi inaitwa technical committee. Kwa sasa KEBS tuko na zaidi ya technical committee 200 ambazo zinafanya hiyo kazi kuhakikisha kuwa tunaweka viwango katika sekta mbalimbali, iwe ile ya uhandisi, ile ya kilimo, ile ya chakula, ile ya services. Kwa hivyo tuna zile kamati za kiufundi katika KEBS nyingi kabisa. Kwa hivyo hatua ya kwanza ni kuwa tunapata hii technical committee inajadiliana ile kiwango. Alafu ikishajadiliana kabisa, ikishaelewana kuwa hiki kiwango kimekubalika katika technical committee ama hii kamati ya kiufundi, tunaenda hatua ya pili. Hatua ya pili ni kualika wale ambao hawakuhusika kutengeneza kiwango kupeana maoni yao. Inaitwa public review. Kwa hivyo tunasambaza ile kiwango kupitia kwa mitandao, pia tunatumia kwa email kutuma, pia tunatuma pale kwa WTO, World Trade Organization, wasambaza kwa mataifa mengine. Kwa vile hiki kiwango pia kinaweza kutumika na mataifa ile mengine, waweze kupeana maoni yao. Kwa hivyo tunawapatia siku 60 ambao wanapeana maoni. Wakishapeana yale maoni, sisi kama Kenya Bureau of Standards na Secretariats tunaweka ile maoni pamoja. Alafu tunarudisha tena kwa ile kamati ambayo ilitengeneza ile kiwango, kujadiliana kuwa tunaweza kubali haya maoni, tubadilisha hapa, labda hatukuchunguza vyema. Kwa hiyo wanaweza kubadilisha ile kiwango ambayo walikuwa wameweka, na finally wakuwe na ile standard ambayo ni ya mwisho. Wakishafika pale, kuna sehemu nyingine ambayo inaitwa balloting, kupigia kura. Lakini wale wanaopiga kura ni wale watu wa technical committee peke yake. Kusema
kwa nini msipeleke public participation?
Itakuwa kazi ngumu kiasi, kwa vile tumepatia public participation, wamepeana maoni yao na wamerudisha. Na kitu ambacho tunafanya kama KEBS, kama maoni yako ambayo ulipeana yamekubaliwa, tutakuandikia tukueleza kwa maoni yako uliyopeana yalikubaliwa, na kama hayakubaliwa pia kuna sababu ambayo hayakubaliwa. Kwa hivyo tutakueleza kuwa maoni yako hayakubaliwa kwa sababu ya hili ama hile. Kwa hivyo tunapeana ile feedback kwako, upate kuwa maoni yako ilichukuliwa na ikakubaliwa ama haikubaliwa kwa sababu ya kitu kimoja ama kingine. Lakini ile sehemu ya kupiga kura na kwa ile technical committee, just to kuhakikisha kuwa wamekubaliana. Kama technical committee tumekubaliana, tumechukua maoni ya wananchi na tumeweka pamoja, na hiki ndio kiwango cha mwisho ambacho tumekubaliana. Kwa hiyo napita ile sehemu inapeleka kwa board, ile National Standards Council ambayo inasimamia shirika la Kenya Bureau of Standards, ambayo inapitisha ile kwa kiwango cha kitaifa. Alafu akishapitisha pale, tunapeleka pale kwa government printer, inafanya publication na wanatoa ile cassette notice kuhakikisha kuwa hii standard sasa ni ya Kenya. Sasa kutoka pale tunaanza kufanya implementation ya hiyo standard. Kwa hivyo kuna sehemu kadhaa ambazo tunafuata kuhakikisha kuwa maoni yote yamechukuliwa na standard imefuata zile hatua za kimataifa. Na sio Kenya pekee tunaofuata hizo sehemu zile viwango za kutengeneza standards. Ni best international practice. Mataifa nyingi, mataifa yote ya kitaifa kulingana na kutokea pale ISO na zile national standards bodies, na vile shirika la Afrika la kutengeneza viwango ARSO, na vile East African Community, tunafuata zile hatua. Kwa hivyo ni best international practice ambayo tunafuata na imekubaliwa kimataifa kuwa ni njia bora zaidi ya kuweka viwango.
Nilitaka sana kujua kama maoni ya wananchi yana umuhimu, na mara nyingi utakuta mwananchi anahusishwa, maoni yake yanachukuliwa, lakini labda huenda pia yasiweze kutiliwa maanani, lakini umeeleza vizuri kwamba mnatilia maanani sana maoni ambayo wananchi wanatoa. Shukrani kwa hilo msikilizaji na mtazamaji. Iwapo ungependa kuwasiliana nasi, nambari zetu za simu ziko wazi kupitia 0700176699 au 0732745111. Iwapo na swali lako, utapokea maswali machache alafu tuweze kutamatisha mjadala wa siku wa leo kuhusiana na viwango na ubora wa bidhaa ambazo tunatumia pia kama wananchi katika taifa letu la Kenya. Mwelekezi, tuelekee upande wa pili. Kuna simu?
Naam msikilizaji,
kabla tupokee simu naeleza kama tuweze kusonga mbele kidogo. Labda tumezungumzia mna sheria ambayo mko nazo, kabla niguzie sheria. Changamoto ambazo labda mnakumbana nazo katika kuhakikisha kwamba tunafikia ubora wa bidhaa ambazo zinahitajika hapa nchini ni gani, kwa ufupi sana?
Vile nimeeleza hapo awali kuwa labda kuna ule
shikilia kidogo, mwelekezi ananiambia tupokee simu alafu uzungumzie changamoto. Na Rashid upande wa pili, labda simu 3 hivi.
Hello, Zinga.
Rashid.
Dora alikuita lakini nadhani hukumsikia.
Naam.
0700176699. Hello, Zinga. Yes.
Ujambo.
Jambo mingi.
Mwenye kitu ibeba huyu mwenyewe ukwaka huyu.
Karibu sana, uliza swali.
Na uliza huyo mkurugenzi, huyo engineer huyo. Kuna muda fulani mwafaka wa kutengeneza bidhaa kama hizo, ama kuna vile watu wanaounda bidhaa hizo alafu wanaanza kusambaza, kama kuna muda mwafaka kamili ama namna gani?
Asante. Hello, Radio Taifa.
Hello.
Yes.
Jambo mtangazaji.
Jambo msikilizaji.
Unaongea na Milimo Kesi kutoka Dalali.
Karibu sana, swali lako.
Ukipenda muite Kenyamani.
Swali lako.
Swali langu ni je. Halo?
Tunasikia, uliza swali.
Swali langu ni kwamba inasaidia aje kwa hizi bidhaa ambazo zinakaa dukani muda mrefu.
Asante, noted. Hello, Zinga.
Jambo Doromanya.
Si jambo.
Omar Baba tena kutoka na Dikaondi. Ningependa kuuliza mgeni wetu. Je, hawa wote walikuwa really hasta? Unapopata kitu kutoka Uganda inaandikwa GPS. Bado wanakufuatilia, na vitu ukiwa na kitu kutoka Amerika, hawa jamaa wanaokopa. Sasa wanatafuta nini? Kwani?
Okay.
Alright, kwako Dora.
Shukran Bwana Omar na wote ambao wameweza kupiga simu. Umemwelewa msikilizaji ambaye amepiga simu ya mwisho?
Nimemwelewa vizuri.
Naarifiwa kwamba tuna dakika 4 kukamilisha mjadala huu.
Amesema kuwa kuna bidhaa ambazo zinatoka Uganda labda tunazikubali, tunasiwekea sheria kali, na zile ambazo zinatoka pale Marekani tunasiwekea sheria ambazo ni hafifu. Sisi kama shirika la KBC huwa tunasema tuko very fair, tunahakikisha kuwa bidhaa zote zinakamilika kulingana na bidhaa. Zile bidhaa zimetoka Uganda ama zimetoka pale Marekani, ile kiwango ambayo tumeweka ni ya Kenya ni ile moja tu. Na tunahakikisha kuwa bidhaa zote zinakamilika kulingana na bidhaa na ile kiwango ambayo tumeweka.
Kwa hivyo mna ubaguzi?
Hatuna ubaguzi wote.
Nchi gani?
Hatuna, kwa sababu kiwango ni kimoja. Hatuna kiwango cha Uganda na hatuna kiwango cha bidhaa ambazo zinatoka Amerika. Kama ni kiwango cha Kenya, ni kiwango kimoja.
Muda wa kutengeneza bidhaa labda huwa mnaweka kwamba bidhaa fulani itengenezwe kwa muda fulani?
Inalingana na vile mfanyabiashara ama yule ambaye anatengeneza anaweza kuhakikisha kuwa bidhaa zimekamilika na zimeweza kufikia vile viwango ambavyo vimewekwa. Tuseme kama ni yule mfanyabiashara mtoko labda anaanza, tunampatia nafasi sehemu ambaye anaweza kutengeneza labda bidhaa alete kwetu. Kama haikamiliki hatuwezi kumpatia ile permit. Alafu tunamwambia atengeneze hapa na pale ili ilingane na kiwango ambacho kimewekwa. Kwa hivyo tunampatia tuseme nafasi 3 kuhakikisha kuwa anarudia na kujaribu kuhakikisha kuwa bidhaa zake zimekamilika. Kwa hivyo hatuna muda kamili ambao tunaweza kusema, inalingana na vile ukileta mara ya kwanza na labda bidhaa zako siweze kuwa zimekamilika na vile viwango, tunakupatia ile ruhusa na ile permit ya kufanya. Ikiwa haiwezekani, tunakupatia tena muda wako uweze kujaribu kurekebisha mahali ambapo hasiwezi kukamilika na vile viwango. Naam.
Na kuna huyu ambaye ameuliza, kuna vile mnasaidia wale wafanyabiashara labda ambao bidhaa muda wa kutumika umekamilika?
Kwa soko nimesema kuna ile wale maafisa wetu wa shirika la Kenya Bureau of Standards ambao wanaenda pale wanaangalia kuwa bidhaa kamilika na sina meet zile standards ambazo tumeweka. Kwa njia hiyo pia one of the things ambayo tunafanya ni kuhakikisha kuwa bidhaa ambazo ziko sokoni haziko expired. Na kama zimepita ule muda wa kutumika pia tunafanya withdraw kutoka sokoni na tuna street kama zile bidhaa zingine zozote ambazo hazijaweza kuweza kufikisha viwango ambazo zimewekwa na tunastore katika soko kabisa.
Okay. Kwa hivyo mwananchi akipata bidhaa, nafikiri la muhimu ni kwamba mwananchi akinunua bidhaa pia angalie tarehe.
Yeah. Na vile nilisema wajipika na KEBS ni vyema kuwasiliana na sisi pia, upitishe ujumbe ili tuhakikishe kwamba maafisa wetu wamefika pale kwa haraka iwezekanavyo na wametoa hizo bidhaa kwenye soko.
Naam. Tukielekea kutamatisha, tulikuwa tunataka kugusia changamoto ambazo mnapitia, na kando na hayo sasa tupate kujua katika ile sheria ambayo mko nayo, manake mko na Standards Act Cap 496, zile sheria ambazo mko nazo kama ziko sawa vile ziko kwa sasa, ama pia yapo mabadiliko ambayo mngependekeza? Kwa dakika 2 tumalize.
Changamoto ambayo nimesema kuwa tunapotengeneza viwango labda hatupati wale stakeholders ambao wako na ujuzi wa bidhaa fulani. Kwa hivyo tuna encourage wale wanaofanya utafiti watusaidie pale, na vile vile tunaita wale ambao wanataka kushirikiana nasi katika zile kamati tofauti za kiufundi, waingie kwetu, waende kwa mtandao, wafanye application na tuwachukua ili tuweze na kuwa na stakeholders wengi zaidi, ili tunapoweka kiwango kiwe kimechukua majukumu ama kimeangazia stakeholders wote kabisa. Labda kwa haraka sana naweza kusema kuwa changamoto nyingine labda ni vile nilivyosema pale, labda ile Standards Act itahitajika kurekebishwa mahali pawili ama pamoja, labda ile adhabu ya ile mfanyabiashara anayeweka bidhaa ambazo hazikamiliki na viwango ikuwe ya juu sana. Vile vile tuhakikishe kuwa yule ambaye anatengeneza bidhaa kupitia amendment ile ilifanywa mwaka jana 2024 Business Amendment Act iliweka pia jukumu kwa mfanyabiashara ama yule ambaye anatengeneza bidhaa kwa unapoweka bidhaa kwa soko hakikisha imekamilika na imemeet zile standards ambazo zimewekwa. Kwa hivyo yale marekebisho katika ile act itatuwezesha kama shirika la KEBS kuhudumia wananchi zaidi na kuhakikisha kuwa na baadhi bidhaa ambazo ziko bora zaidi.
Sekunde 30, maneno yako kwa wananchi ya mwisho kuhusiana na masuala ya ubora wa bidhaa hapa nchini.
Na wahimiza wananchi washirikiane na sisi pamoja ili kuhakikisha kuwa bidhaa ambazo ziko sokoni watuelezee iwapo labda wanashuku bidhaa fulani hasikamiliki viwango.
Wanaeleza vipi?
Nimeeleza ile nambari ambayo ni toll free 1545, wanaweza kupika alafu tukachukua simu yako wakatuelezea na tukafika pale. Vile vile tunapomalizia, ningependa kuchukua nafasi hii kualika wananchi kwa ile World Standards Day ambayo sheria kubwa kabisa inayosherekewa kimataifa mzima itafanyika tarehe 14 mwezi wa Oktoba. Tunasherekea na kuwapatia heko wale ambao wametusaidia kimataifa na pia kitaifa kutengeneza viwango kadhaa ambazo zimeweza kuhakikisha kuwa mwananchi anapata dhamana ya pesa ambazo wameweka.
Itakuwa wapi?
Itakuwa hapa makao makuu ya Kenya Bureau of Standards pale tarehe 14 mwezi wa 10, na waalika waweze kufika pale na tusherekee pamoja. Vile vile kuna ile essay ambayo tuna patia wale wanafunzi ARSO essay ambayo inashindaniwa katika Afrika mzima. Tunawaalika waende pale kwa KEBS website wapate ile ujumbe na waweze kushirika katika ile competition ya harmonization of standards in facilitating international trade as well as also ensuring the technical barriers to trade are removed.
Thank you. Asante, mahali pazuri pa kumalizia mjadala wa leo, na asante sana kwa kupatia hamasa Bwana Zakaria Lukorito, mkurugenzi mkuu wa maendeleo ya viwango na biashara katika shirika la ukadiriaji ubora wa bidhaa hapa nchini KEBS. Asante kuweza kufika.
Asante sana.
Shukrani zaidi. Na kwa wewe mtazamaji na msikilizaji, asante kwa wote ambao wamefanikisha makala haya siku ya leo kuhusiana na hali na athari ya viwango vya bidhaa. Asante sana mwelekezi wangu Muhika, shukrani napiga picha. Asante maproducer Nancy Kemunto, Dennis Chisaka na vile vile Moi Masila. Nimekuwa wako Dora Manya. Basi tufanye hivi tena na kurejesha upande wa Channel 1 na vile vile upande wa KBC Radio Taifa, sauti ya Mkenya.
always played both sides. I don't even want to know the details. But you need to take responsibilities of your own mistakes. Look, listen.
Did Tiffany mention me?
No, not yet.
Right?
Come on. Give her time. She'll come back around.
Kuna shida lakini.
Sasa unataka tuongee mambo zetu hapa mbele ya huyu?
Katika Qur'an tukufu Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala anatuamuru tukumbushane, kwani kukumbushana kunawafaa waumini. Kwa mujibu wa hadithi, Mtume Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam anatushauri tueneze ujumbe wake angalau kwa aya moja. Basi tunatia ari kufanya ambacho ni jukumu la kila Muislamu, kukumbushana mema na kukatazana maovu. Tunakuletea mawaidha za mashehe, wataalam, maustadh, madrasa, makala spesheli na Okti Fatuma Yakub, mafunzo na historia za mitume na masahaba, na burudani kupitia nashid na wasifu za munshid. Tazama ukumbi wa Kiislamu nami Alishe kila Ijumaa saa 9:30 katika KBC Channel 1.
They say the earth without art would just be get it? We circumnavigate the globe and traverse the local scene to bring you art and culture at their very best. From fine art, culinary art, performing arts, and even cultural events, you name it, and we have got you covered. My name is Kevin Kasioki, and I will be serving you this and much, much more each and every Friday at 8 p.m. only on KBC Channel 1.
Thank you for staying with us. My name is Vivian Degwa. This is Good Morning Kenya, and we officially get into matters health. Health Check is the segment on air right now, and today we are having a focus on compassionate and palliative care, specifically for cancer patients. We're going to be looking beyond the treatment, beyond diagnosis, and look at what palliative care is all about. We're having a run through on matters oncology, and joining me for that conversation is one Dr. Emma Nalianya. Dr. Emma, right there she goes. She's joining us live on Zoom, and that is Dr. Emma Nalianya, who is a general practitioner at the Kenyatta University Teaching, Referral and Research Hospital from the Oncology Department, and she will be talking to us about compassionate care, palliative care, what that is all about, how does that look like. If you have any questions for our doctor this morning, feel free to ask the question. The number is 0716-103-301, 0716-103-301. That is the number that you can be able to send us our WhatsApp message. Just send in your WhatsApp message and ask a question, and our doctor, or she'll be right back, she will be talking to us about that and getting to answer some of your questions. Now, when we talk about palliative care, we are looking beyond the prescription treatment. You know, how does that look like beyond the chemotherapy, beyond the radiotherapy, beyond the surgeries, and just looking at how to ensure that cancer patients that we may be having in our homes are still feeling seen, are still being heard, and still feel very supported. That is exactly what we will be looking about, we'll be talking about this morning, and we get to look at some of the differences between, when we talk about compassionate care, how does it differ from palliative care as well as hospice. And I believe we have her back. If you can have her on our screens.
There we have her. Dr. Emma, good morning.
Good morning, Vivian. How are you today?
I'm doing well this morning. It's a pleasure to have you on the show on this beautiful Tuesday morning. Let's talk about this topic that we're having today, and let's get direct to the definition. When we talk about compassionate care, what does that mean? When you talk about palliative care, what does that mean? Kindly break it down for us.
Okay, thank you so much. So compassionate care is basically a holistic approach to care that addresses the patient's physical needs, emotional needs, spiritual needs, and ensuring that the patient is as comfortable as possible. And it's actually it's the basis of quality care. On the other hand, palliative care is usually associated with end-of-life care, but it doesn't just deal with end-of-life care. It also deals with ensuring that the patient is comfortable, and palliative care can be introduced at any point in the treatment of a cancer patient, right from the time of diagnosis, during treatment, after treatment, and so on. So they're a bit different. Compassionate care does not necessarily need specialized training, but palliative training actually needs specialized training, because there is a lot that needs to be done differently, and a lot that needs to be understood from the patient's perspective.
How different is it from hospice?
Could you please come again? I didn't hear that.
How different is it from hospice treatment or care?
I cannot hear you.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
All right, I'm asking how different is palliative care and compassionate care to hospice?
How do I do what?
How different is it from hospice care?
Okay, so hospice care is usually for patients who are at the end of their life. They cannot get any medical treatment, like chemotherapy, surgery, and so on, or even radiotherapy. So hospice care is for those patients who are approaching their death, and it's just to make them as comfortable as possible, because at that moment they do not need any form of treatment, and their body is too weak to even sustain any form of treatment at that point.
Okay. All right, so that is the difference between the two, or rather the three, from compassionate to palliative and hospice. Now today we're focusing on palliative and compassionate. When do we get to introduce the palliative care that is to a cancer patient? What stage?
So palliative care can be introduced at any time during the treatment or management of a cancer patient, right from diagnosis. A palliative team should have a sit down with the patients and the relatives, so that they get to understand what the disease is, what to expect in terms of treatment, and sometimes the cost is also discussed at that point, and they're also able to share their expectations, what they're expecting from the treatment, and they're also told how the disease is going to be, for example, the prognosis, and how some things to expect in the course of treatment, like side effects of the treatment and the changes that are going to take place. For example, some patients are not able to go to work, and they're given support on how to cope with that, because it's very different. It can also be introduced, it can also be followed up during the treatment of the patient to find out the feelings of the patient, what they feel towards whatever is going on, and they can be helped to cope, because it's quite difficult coming to terms that someone has cancer, how to navigate the treatment, and even the cost is usually a burden at times. So palliative care usually just offers support to ensure the patient and the relatives are as comfortable as possible.
So it is given alongside the curative treatments?
Yes, it is given alongside the curative treatment.
Yeah. Why is it also very crucial for for us to focus on the palliative care side of it?
Yeah, to have a holistic approach to care, you also need to take care of the patient's other needs, because it's not only the medical needs that the patient has. The patient also, for example, some have lost their power to perform their activities of daily living, some are unable to feed themselves. So you come and offer support and ensure there is someone there to feed them. You address their spiritual needs, if they have any, their emotional needs, to ensure that they're not very fearful or very anxious, and you encourage them to live in the moment and just take one step at a time. So, like, not worry so much about the future, because we'll deal with the problems there when we get there.
Yeah.
But we should also anticipate what expected outcomes are.
Yeah, I can imagine most times it's a difficult conversation. So how do you go about approaching these difficult conversations, about the prognosis and also one's quality of life, and how maybe life may change for them, or end of life choices?
So it's actually a very difficult conversation, and you start small and give it in little bits. For as much as they can take it in, you start from where they are, so that you add on to what they know already, then you build it from there. You take them step by step and ensure that every aspect is actually taken care of. And end-of-life care is actually a very difficult conversation, because most people don't want to. If people had an opportunity to live forever, maybe they choose to live forever. So it's not a very easy conversation to have, but at the end of the day, we will all die one way or another, some through cancer, some through other means. So it is actually a difficult conversation to have, but step by step, people are able to come to terms with it. Most people are able to come to terms with it, and those that are not able to come to terms with it, we work with them through the entire process, and involve a multidisciplinary team, including psychologists, to talk to them whenever there is need. The palliative nurses, there are also doctors, and any other person who is able to add input.
Yeah. While I was doing my intro, I talked about ensuring that the patients feel seen, they feel heard, they feel supported. Maybe how do you go about that? For the care teams, how do they go about ensuring that this patient is feeling seen? They're feeling, that they're being heard.
Yeah, I think the most important way is by actively listening to understand, not listening to judge. Or, for example, if someone keeps telling you that they feel pain, you give them painkillers and they still feel the pain, it doesn't necessarily mean that they want to be a bother. Sometimes it's because the medication that you're giving is not strong enough, so you need to add medication. When they have any issues that they want to raise, you should just actively listen to understand and not to respond, because sometimes we are not able to know exactly what the patient is feeling, and we assume the patient should not be feeling this way. But if they tell you they're feeling that way, they're actually feeling that way, and they're telling you because they know you are able to help, and you should approach it with kindness and actively listen to actually help, not to respond.
Yeah. What is the role of family members or their caregivers who are, taking care of the cancer patient? What is their role in when it comes to palliative care?
So their role is to actually support the patient in any way they can, and sometimes issues can arise from patient care. Maybe a patient can be telling you a complaint, then your role as a patient support is to not amplify the issue, because you understand that you as a family member who's supporting the patient, if you're feeling affected in that way, can you imagine how the patient himself or herself is actually feeling? So you try to address issues and not try to amplify them. For example, giving them hope and not saying like it is very, very bad, you've never seen something like that. You're just giving yourself, making the effort and also finding support for yourself, because it's not easy to take care of cancer patients. So even you need to seek support, maybe join a support group for cancer patient caregivers and so on, so that even you yourself are actually helping the patient. And whenever there is a problem or whenever you are not getting an outcome that you're expecting, you also don't give up, because maybe the patient is actually relying on what is going around them, and just using that to gain a little bit of hope. So if you diminish their hope, maybe they could give up, and you don't know if they're just there because they're seeing the support that is being offered to them.
Yeah. So it is really, really crucial for those who are around the person who is battling cancer to be present and to ensure that the patient feels seen and loved. Now, maybe how does compassionate care approach differ when it comes to different treatments of different cancers? Does it differ, for example, when you look at breast cancer, would it be different from looking at something like maybe cervical cancer?
Yeah, I think it would differ, because compassionate care is patient-centered, and you're actually addressing the patient's needs and the issues that they're facing at that time. For example, someone with breast cancer can have one of their breasts can be operated on, it can be removed, and that changes their body, and they will need support for body image and so on. And the same applies to cervical cancer for body image, because sometimes they produce some discharge that is not very pleasant to smell, and even during the course of treatment and after the treatment, they would need support, they themselves and their family, because that is their reproductive organ that has the disease, and some forms of treatment can actually tamper with things like reproduction. For example, if someone is given undergoes radiotherapy because of cervical cancer, it could affect reproduction later, and for such a patient, you would want to discuss fertility preservation. If they're very young and they want to preserve their fertility, we discuss that before starting the treatment, so that everyone is at the same page when going through the treatment.
So looking at other cancers, for example, if we can take a look at cancer of the esophagus or colorectal cancer, these are cancers that may actually maybe interfere or bring difficulties when it comes to eating or digestion and things surrounding that. Maybe how do you go about, offering compassionate care to such patients?
Yeah, for a patient with esophageal cancer, they will definitely, most of them will have a problem with feeding, and for such patients, we recommend that they get a feeding tube that is put to their stomach. Sometimes it's put through the mouth with a scope. Sometimes it's open surgery that is done to put the tube in the body, so that they're able to get the nutrition they need in order to continue the treatment. And such a decision is not easy to make, because everyone wants to feel the taste of food in their mouth, but unfortunately not everyone is able to get that luxury. And as for colorectal cancer, sometimes someone can get obstruction, and they might need a diversion to be able to pass through the stool through a stoma. It's just basically a hole that's created on the skin to be able to pass stool. So such a person's life has changed, because now they are supposed to walk around with a bag carrying stool, and that is really not an easy decision to make, but it's a decision that is helpful to the patient because otherwise they will not be able to pass through. So you just talk to them slowly. Most patients might not accept it at first, but once they understand the implications properly, they are able to come to terms with it and just accept the things the way they are.
Can any kind of doctor probably, or what kind of training should one go through to be able to be, you know, a compassionate caregiver, or get to give the palliative care rather? Is there a specific training? Do you have to have?
I think.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I think compassionate care is actually the basis of quality care, and I think anyone who has gone through school, medical school, nursing school, I think everyone who works in the hospital should be able to provide compassionate care even without specialized training, because that is just based on values like being kind, being empathetic, and all that. But for palliative care, there is some training that one has to undergo, because there's a lot there, end of life care, like pain management and so on, and that for that someone really has to undergo proper training, because it's not easy, and also being able to know how to handle difficult days, because sometimes you can be things can take an emotional toll on you, and you should be knowing ways on how to deal with that, because if you don't take care of yourself, you'll not be able to take care of others.
And speaking about that, for the caregivers at home, I know sometimes it may be overwhelming. You know, one may experience burnout when they are, you know, in that process of looking after their loved one. Maybe are there systems put in place for them when it comes to palliative care?
For that, I think it would come in when we are having family conferences and they accompany the patient to the hospital, or they come to visit the patient. We are able to talk to everyone there and understand the concerns of each and everyone, and we are able to advise them to the best of our ability. And at this time, I would like to advise them to seek support, because it's not easy taking care of cancer patients, and they can do so by joining support groups of cancer patient caregivers. I know of Kilele and I think Limau caregivers. They can join that and be able to find out how every other person is able to cope with that. They should also take breaks to recharge, because you will not be able to pour from an empty cup. And they should also prioritize their well-being, because if they are not able to, they're not prioritizing their well-being, they will not be able to take care of the patient to the best of their ability.
Yeah.
So they should always seek support and speak up whenever they feel like they need support.
Now, for the longest time, cancer has been viewed as a death sentence, which is not truly the case. Because, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear
All
you.
right. So I was saying, for the longest time, cancer has been viewed as a death sentence, but it's not really the case, because, I mean, people receive treatment. Treatment has advanced nowadays, and one can be able to fully heal and continue with their day-to-day life and live a quality life after all. Maybe if you can just demystify that thought of, you know, the moment one has cancer, that is it.
Yeah, I totally agree with you that when someone hears that so-and-so has cancer, they're just thinking, oh, they're going to die very, very soon. And that is why I want to talk about screening for cancer. Early screening can actually save a lot in terms of resources, and also in terms of the emotional toll it will take on you, because if cancer is diagnosed very early, it has better outcomes compared to when it's diagnosed when it has advanced and spread to other parts of the body. And I would briefly talk about the five commonest cancers in Kenya, like breast cancer, colorectal cancer, cancer of the cervix, prostate cancer and esophageal cancer. So at KUTRH, we screen for all these cancers, and for breast cancers, we usually do mammography for patients who are above 40 years old, and for younger patients, we have other ways of screening, and everyone should also learn how to examine their breasts. Every female needs to know how to do that, because you should not wait for someone to tell you there is a problem here. You should know how it usually looks, how it usually feels, so that when there is a change, you are the first to notice, and you don't wait to go to the hospital and be told, oh, there is a problem over here. For colorectal cancer, we do colonoscopies every 10 years for people above the age of 45, and there are also other tests that are done every year to check if there is blood in your stool, which could come from, it could be from cancer, or it could be from a polyp. And once the colonoscopy is done and some tissue that is abnormally seen, a biopsy is taken, and it will be taken for histology. Then if cancer cells are identified, you start treatment and management immediately. Then for prostate cancer, there is a blood test called prostate specific antigen, PSA. I think most people know about these, and it can be done to, it's on case-to-case basis. It can be done to men, and it can be done in together with the digital rectal examination, just to see how the prostate feels, and if it feels abnormal, they will take. If it feels abnormal and looks abnormal on imaging, they can take a biopsy and see if there are cancer cells or not. Then for cervical cancer, there are multiple ways to screen for that. We have HPV DNA testing that is usually done to women above the age of 30 years old, and it's the gold standard. It's very unlikely to miss a cancer. Then we have the conventional pap smear that I think most people know about. We also have some visual inspection with acetic acid that's usually done in resource poor settings. And for cervical cancer, there are HPV vaccines that are available. They were rolled out, should be around 2019 or 2020.
Yeah.
That helps with prevention of cervical cancer. It targets the commonest HPV viruses that cause cervical cancer. I think should be, it depends on the vaccine, but I think all of them target 16 and 18, which cause about 70% of cervical cancer. Then for esophageal cancer, we do endoscopy, and endoscopy is usually done on very high-risk patients, and it actually does not have a minimum age. It's on case-to-case basis to determine like who needs an endoscopy and who doesn't. And all these things that I have mentioned are done at KUTRH: mammography, colonoscopy, the fecal blood test or immunochemical testing, the HPV DNA, as well as endoscopy. So I think people should screen as early as possible, because once the disease is diagnosed early, treatment can start as soon as possible, and someone has better outcomes when it is diagnosed earlier, as opposed to waiting until you have symptoms, and that's when you go. Then in the worst case scenario, you're told that your disease is at stage 4. So like it moved from stage 1 to stage 4. Where were you all this time? And I feel like we usually underutilize all these screening services, because we can always go to a health facility maybe every year, every 2 years, to just check and see how things are going. Sometimes you will not find something, sometimes you will find something, and if you find something, that is good, because you can start taking care of that something right there.
All right.
Yeah.
To our viewers, remember you can get to be part of this conversation. If you have any questions for our doctor this morning concerning cancer treatment, and specifically when we're looking at palliative care, feel free to send in your messages. The number is 0716-103-301. 0716-103-301. Send us a message via WhatsApp, and we will be sure to sample all your messages as they get to come in. Now, Doc, as you've just mentioned, you've said that most of these facilities or resources that are available are underutilized. Maybe what would you say is the thing, or what is causing this underutilization? What is it with us as Kenyans that is stopping us from, you know, going to get checked as often or frequent as we should?
I can say it's because of poor health-seeking behavior. It could also be because of people who do not have insurance. They do not want to. It's actually expensive to pay cash for healthcare.
Yeah.
So if someone does not have insurance, someone wonders, I don't feel sick. Why should I go to the hospital to pay money and check? And then if they don't find something, or sometimes someone can come, then they expect you to find something because they have paid. So if you tell them there is no problem, they're like, I wasted my money. But no, they haven't wasted their money. I know it's difficult. We have difficult times in Kenya, but it would be good to do a yearly or a 2-yearly checkup every now and then, just to be sure that things are okay, so that you're able to take care of things before they advance.
Yeah, there's a doctor who advised and said that every time you're turning a new age, every time you're celebrating your birthday, give yourself a gift of going to the hospital and get checked. Just get screened for everything and anything, you know?
Yes.
Yeah. So now when we get back to the non-medical interventions, you know, when we talk about the probably palliative care or compassionate care that goes hand in hand with the treatment that one may be having, what are some of these interventions that improve the quality of life? You know, I've read of music therapy, so if you can talk more about, you know, the several interventions that are there.
So there is psychological therapy where the patient gets to talk to a therapist, and they're able to like express their concerns and be guided and be validated on however they are feeling, and they develop a coping strategy on how to cope with things and how to navigate the problems that might arise during the treatment. As you have said, also music therapy, but I am not going to talk about that because I don't know much about it.
Okay.
Then, then there is also physiotherapy that patients can undergo if they are not able to walk, so that they're helped to try and preserve the function of walking, because if you lay down the whole day, every other day, your body might become very weak and you might have very difficulty trying to walk when you are able to, because you can even also get contractures and your body parts may not function as optimally as they should. Yeah, and also spiritual care. You can get spiritual leaders to come and talk to these patients, because I know faith and hope go hand in hand.
Yeah.
Because if you have faith that there is God, you also know that that God also wants good things for you, and keeping that hope is very, very important in the course of treatment.
All right, there's a question here that has come in. Someone is asking, is this aftercare treatment a package together with the treatment? Is this after treatment care a package together with the treatment now that it is expensive to treat? Does it come as a package, or it is paid separately from the treatment that one may be the cancer treatment?
Is that about palliative care?
Yes.
I think it's an add-on, and I do not think that is paid for separately, because the people that offer this kind of care are the doctors that are treating you, the nurses that are seeing you, so it is not paid for separately. It is part of that management, and I think the workplace cultures in different places are different, and we actually need the standardized care so that when someone goes to one facility, they get that. When they go to another facility, they don't get that. Then there is that disparity. So I think it should be standardized, and everyone should be able to offer this, especially level 6, 5, 4, and even, if possible, level 3 facilities should be able to offer this.
All right. And in line with that very same question that one of our viewers has asked, I had a question on just how accessible is palliative care in Kenya?
For that, I am not very sure, but what I can tell you for sure that it is very accessible at Kenyatta University Teaching, Referral and Research Hospital. And it's not just for cancer patients, but all types of patients who might need that. For example, patients with intractable pain, and they may need frequent reviews to see if the pain is well managed, if they are very comfortable, and so on. So what I can tell you for a fact that I am sure about is that we have that at KUTRH.
All right.
Yeah.
Just how do you go about measuring the success of palliative care? What do you look at to get to conclude that, okay, that was successful?
That's a very difficult and complex question, but I will try to answer it to the best of my ability. So I think there are many aspects that you look at when you're dealing with palliative care. There is you, the healthcare worker, there is the patient, then the support of the patient. They can be relatives, they can be friends who come to visit, or just basically the next of kin. So sometimes if you compare these three groups, the outcomes could be related to one or something more. For example, you as the doctor can give your best, right? Then the patient receives it to the best of their ability. But the next of kin is not satisfied. But you did your best. Would you call that successful or unsuccessful?
Well, if you did your best.
The patient appreciates it, but the next of kin is not satisfied.
How do you deal with such a situation?
You sit down with them and find out where the dissatisfaction is coming from, and you try to address that to the best of your ability. Yes.
All right. What challenges? Because from that, I pick that maybe that's one of the challenges of palliative care, or professionals, healthcare professionals get to go through when it comes to them delivering palliative care. Maybe what are some other challenges that you would say you face, in that profession?
Yeah. So I think another challenge is that people actually do not totally understand like that when a cancer patient is treated, there are 3 possible outcomes. They could get better, it could remain the same, or they could even worsen despite the treatment, because they are not maybe responding to the treatment, or because of other issues. So most people expect that the patient gets better. Even us, we really want that the patient gets better, but that's not always the case. So dissatisfaction could stem from that, people not actually understanding that the disease could take 3 courses. So I think people understanding that is also very, very important. And I think people should practice gratitude. And of course, if there is more to be done, more will be done, but we should also be grateful for what we have here right now, as we want to improve.
Okay. All right. I want to paint this picture. There's a situation here. Someone has gone to for their screenings, and unfortunately, it has been discovered that they have one of the cancers, right? So if you are coming in as a palliative care, how do you begin to design the care plan appropriate for this person? What do you look at? How do you get to design it?
So I think the design of that is multidisciplinary. It's not based on one person, because the patient gets in by the doctor, by the nurses, then there is a palliative team, a nutritionist, but then you have to disclose the diagnosis. You let the patient know the diagnosis. You come slowly and let them process the feelings. Sometimes it takes time. If it takes time, you wait, you go step by step, because they have to accept the diagnosis, then they begin treatment. Because if someone says, I do not have cancer, but you have found the cancer, and they say, I do not need radiotherapy, I do not need chemotherapy, I do not need surgery because I do not have cancer. You see, there we have a problem, right? Yeah, so you take them step by step, help them understand what it actually means to have cancer. And as we have said, cancer is not a death sentence.
Yeah.
There are things that can be done to help you as a patient. There are things that can be done to make you feel as comfortable as possible. And I think with a multidisciplinary approach, everyone is able to suggest things and come up with a proper plan for each patient, because now it's not a one-size-fits-all type of thing. It's patient-centered. Every patient has their own challenges. Every patient has their own needs. And once you're able to address that is unique to every patient, I think everyone should be able to have some hope.
Yeah. All right, well noted. As we come to a conclusion of the conversation, maybe are there specific policy changes that you would love to see? Are there ways in which the public awareness efforts can be made in order to improve access to compassionate care?
I think policy changes that can be made for increasing human resource, because if someone is overwhelmed by their just the clinical aspect of their work, they might not be able to have compassionate care, to offer compassionate care, and they may not even have just time to sit down and listen to what a patient says, because some of these things usually don't take a short time, it's a very long time, and if you're short-staffed, it's very difficult to offer compassionate care if you're very short-staffed. So you definitely need to have enough staff numbers, have enough resources in the facility, and so on. And as I had said earlier, if healthcare delivery is standardized so that every facility is able to offer compassionate care and palliative care and support these patients, so that it's just uniform across all facilities and not just some specific facilities, that would really help, because one facility, two facilities, or three facilities cannot serve the entire Kenyan population. So we really need to have people trained in palliative care and healthcare workers to develop their skills in compassionate care to be able to address such issues whenever they arise. And I think also integrating technology in healthcare can help with that. For example, I believe that some of these discussions can take place in online, a patient can talk to a counselor online. I know it is best sometimes to be right there in person, but for example, if people are short-staffed, but you're able to get someone else who's not actually there, but they are able to help, I think that can also go a long way in helping out.
All right, thank you so very much, Dr. Emma. We appreciate your contribution on the show this morning. Thank you. Okay, this is where we get to end this conversation as well as put a cap to today's Good Morning Kenya. Thank you so very much to each and every one of you who started with us in the wee morning of the hours until this point of the day. We do appreciate, and we do this each and every weekday morning. So we get to see you again tomorrow, God willing, same time and place. My name is Vivian Dagwa. Do enjoy the rest of your viewing. Goodbye.
Looking to advertise on KBC? KBC announcement services are now available on eCitizen. Visit kbc.ecitizen.go.ke and fill out the online application form. It's simple. 1. Complete the form. 2. Upload required documents. 3. Receive a quotation based on word count. And 4. Get notified via SMS when your announcement is ready. Please note, clearly indicate the type of announcement, service station, and all relevant details. 2. All applications must be made online only. Manual submissions will not be accepted. And 3. Announcements will air after news bulletins. For assistance, reach us on email ecitizen@kbc.co.ke or use our social media handles, Facebook, your Facebook account, and X at your X account. Or you can call us on 0723-892-654 or 0734-780-124. KBC announcements. Simple, fast, and digital.
Sende kuita mama.
Kwani nini ilifanyika?
Kama Cindy angeniita, Elijah angekuwa na sisi tumefanikiwa kupata 80,000.
Nasema 8 ama 80,000.
Bwana Elijah. Kwa makini. Yanaweza kuwa naitiwa nini huko sasa?
Ni juu ya jina.
Hallelujah! Atike! Hii ni mambo ya Mungu.
Taka na kwa na temptations more. Halafu mademu ravi. Baya.
Maajabu.
New modes of transport were bringing great benefits to citizens, but at the same time bringing a lot of chaos on the streets that cities were struggling to deal with.
Recently, mobility companies and public transport systems have begun compiling vast amounts of raw data. This data is then used by cities as they see fit.
A lot of industries today have massive amounts of data that they don't know what to do with yet.
Data analysts then collect and aggregate everything into maps like these, while agencies like Villanova visualize the data. The maps are responsive and interactive. This provides different kinds of anonymized information on residents' movements, which is useful for public authorities.
Cities will be able to understand which areas of their territory is more used in terms of trips departures or trips arrivals, They will also be able to better understand the mobility patterns from point A to point B. And in that regard, they will be able to analyze whether these trip patterns are using a certain kind of infrastructure. So for instance, is it using bike lanes or bus lanes or just pavements? And then based on this analysis, we'll be able to plan the missing infrastructure.
Belgium's capital, Brussels, works with data analysts to get a better overview of the usage of
much higher than before. So starting from 2024, there will be less vehicles, less providers, more strict rules in terms of parking.
The city is working on a sustainable mobility plan. And if all goes well, digital solutions like this will become more common across Europe.
It's a solid place to start, but for many in the tech industry, it's a bit bland. They'd rather conjure up the really big ideas. We spoke to tech writer Paris Marx.
Instead of kind of really mundane things like invest in buses and, think about how we distribute street space and maybe make some cycle lanes, it sounds a lot more attractive to say, oh, the cars are going to start driving themselves and we're going to make this new tunnel system for transportation and we're going to have flying cars finally.
Investors and media can't get enough of bold high-tech new transit projects. One of the most glaring examples is Hyperloop, a high-speed, above-ground vacuum tube popularised by Elon Musk in 2013. British billionaire Richard Branson, owner of Virgin, also supported it. In 2017, construction began. Passengers were to travel 1,000 kilometres an hour across the US, India and the Middle East. But the closest this came to materialising was a single test reaching just 160 kilometres an hour. And the costs were far greater than predicted. Undeterred by the failure above ground, Musk opted to go underground. First, he pledged to dig elaborate systems of tunnels under cities where 16-person self-driving pods could zip around with ease. That quickly became a pledge to develop a system of so-called skates, which would sweep electric cars across towns at speeds of up to 200 kilometres an hour. What did end up being built in the end was the Loop, a one-way tunnel for Teslas to meander through at a mere 64 kilometres an hour. Well, at least it exists.
It is mainly just an attraction for Teslas. It's a way to sell Teslas. It's not really affecting traffic. It's not really solving transportation problems. It's really, I call it a Disneyland ride for Tesla fans.
Despite the ill-fated glory projects, the Loop is to be expanded to almost 50 kilometres. The projects play to the imagination and garner capital. But can it solve traffic problems? Well, we'll just have to wait and see.
So if big tech won't solve our traffic problems, who will? If you ask me, we shouldn't just sit back and wait for flying cars to come save us. It's always best to start small with the realistic ideas that can actually make a difference. Otherwise, we could end up waiting years for big tech to become affordable. As for me, I'll be taking the tram home for now. How do you like to travel? Do you have good public transport in your neighborhood? Let us know. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Siende kuita mama.
Kwani nini ilifanyika?
Kama Cindy angeniita, Elijah angekuwa na sisi. Tumefanikiwa kupata 80,000.
Basema 8 ama 80,000.
Bwana Elijah. Kwa makini.
Naweza kuwa naitiwa nini huko sasa?
Ni juu ya jina.
Hallelujah! Atike! Hii ni mambo ya Mungu.
Tawa kuna kuangana temptations mob, halafu mademu vaa vibaya.
Maajabu.
Nani alikuwa kwa mtego? Ngoja sasa. Na nani?
I never heard the music so sweet. I repeat.
Wagwan, me brethren, big things are going. Remember, each and every Monday we have to shell down the place with nothing but the best of smooth reggae vibes in your favorite station. You know these things, man.
Alafu kila Tuesday, kata simu tupo side, giving you Kenyan music from the 254.
And of course, you can spice up your Wednesday by enjoying blazing hot hip-hop and R&B jams.
We don't got no label. She say she want bottles.
Vibes and vibes as we go all across Africa, Kenya, Nigeria, Ghana, all the way to Tanzania to give you nothing but the best on Afro Thursday. Make sure you make a date with us each and every single Friday with me, DJ_Liza Diva,
DJ Colder,
and me, Wanjiko. This is Club One Extra.
Unanifanya nisikie kunyongwa Hadija ai Mani especially ukisonga.
Hello, fabulous ladies. Welcome to the talk show that's all about sisterhood, empowerment, and unfiltered conversation. We will be focusing on women. We believe in women.
We are really changing.
We are creating a safe space for women to connect, thrive, and share.
Just because you're a woman on a bike, you're labeled in a certain way.
It's not just a talk show, it's a movement.
When they are standing, we need to stand out.
From heartwarming tales to hilarious adventures.
They could ask me, Catherine, why are you learning?
We are turning the spotlight on women who are breaking barriers in their individual fields.
You have to have a vision. You are the leaders of Kenya today.
Keeping it honest and relatable.
Mental health is real. Yes.
Where there is no communication, there is no relationship.
Join the sisterhood on KBC TV for Dada's show.
Want to enjoy free-to-air digital TV with crystal clear quality? Here's how to get started with Signet. Step 1. If you have a smart TV, you're good to go. If not, get yourself a digital set-top box. Next, connect your set-top box to an aerial and the aerial to your TV. Use RCA cables, yellow for video, red and white for audio, or simply plug in an HDMI cable for high-quality sound and picture. Now, do an auto search on your TV. Just follow the prompts on the screen. And that's it. You're now tuned in to Signet. Sit back and enjoy a wide range of free-to-air digital channels. For technical inquiries, call the Signet hotline on 0770 572 656.
Good morning, and you're just in time for News Check on this particular day of the 16th of September 2025. My name is Abdiaziz Hashim. The sign language interpreter at the bottom end of your screen is Lensa Odingo. Our focus today is about the war against drug and substance abuse. We do have all the stakeholders from NACADA as well as the National Police Service. Also, we do have a recovery coach as well as a psychologist for us to talk about some of the impact that it has had on the society. Also, keeping tabs on various stories that are currently making headlines at this hour. We start off with President William Ruto is currently at the Vipingo Special Economic Zone in Kilifi County. Also, the Jukwaa la Usalama at Homa Bay